There they are. I'm just a kid from Chicago. What down, what down, what down, what down, what down? Welcome. I'm just a kid from Chicago. Yes, sir. We got a big show today, y'all. Big show. Been looking forward to this one since my ship, Captain Marlon Orlandis Hubbard. I would tell y'all to search his show on this network, but that show was deleted somehow. Any rate, I've been looking forward to this show since I reconnoitered with my mans here, Nathan Legardy, at my ship's wedding. So for all our regular Self Love Nation, let me get on the script. Biding some time here for the show to get jumping. Fasten your seatbelts, get your oxygen mask on, roll up, drop that ice in your scotch, get the stogies going. Welcome to Chi-Town's very own, the Self Love Show. We got two mottos. Number one, on earth as it is in heaven. Praise, big ups to the ancestors. And I believe in Ethiopian earth is Mida, I believe. Mida. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I believe I learned that today. The second motto is as above, so below. Right now, we could be found Malcolm exclusively, right here, on this YouTube joint. This ain't that network. This ain't Fox. This ain't MSNBC. This ain't the Crying News Network, Crying Negro Network. That'll be CNN. This ain't ESPN. This ain't none of that. This ain't Disney. This ain't Channel 7. This ain't CBX. This ain't that awful WGN. Y'all sold out, just like a lot of the churches. Most of the churches, dare I say. Sold straight out. I digress. But what we are is this ain't that network. And right here in this acronym age, that's going to be, that's right, TATN. So when you're pushing the network to somebody, hey, is this somewhere where I can get on and learn about real estate every week? This ain't that. You feel me? All right. You can learn about real estate from time to time, but this ain't that. Today we got Black Ed in the building. In case you're wondering who the hell you're listening to. And big ups to Scooter Chose for this song right here, kid from Chicago. Big ups. With his permission. I'm your co-host, Nine Mills, also known as Self Love. What down, Chi-Town, what down. What's up, Planet Mida, Planet Earth? What down? Repeat after me. I am greater than my excuse. Once again, I am greater than my excuse. One more last again. I am greater than my excuse. And we are live. That's right. Live and in living color. Today is October 20th, Wednesday. It's about 7:12 p.m. Where you at? I got to look at the Y's, see where the guys are at. I'm being Coach Nagy for the Chicago Bears. And it's 5:12 where I'm at. I end every sentence with a preposition or a prepositional phrase. For all you Beasley Bees out there, I went to Ray School and we used to kick y'all ass academically. But we're going to unpack it all today. And excuse that language. We used to kick your aspirations academically. Yeah. So, yeah. So, like I said, today is October 20th, 2021. And I'd like to acknowledge that all of you can be any place in this magnificent universe, and thankfully, you somehow, some way, Scooter chose, that's the guy who made that lovely song that we were playing at the top of the joint. That Scooter chose, y'all look him up, Wonder Years. That's right, it rivals, what's Nas's joint? It rivals, Nas's joint everybody likes. Illmatic. Facts. It's a Chi-Town version of Illmatic. So you can be stupid and not even bother trying to listen to it, or you can be smart and check that out. So big ups to him. So, but we can be all any place in this magnificent universe, and somehow we all Scooter chose to be here together. And that's here together. So, looks like we got the co-host popping in the building. Big ups to our production staff. They thug vizzle constantly. And you guys, our platform is edutainment. We get a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Just know our emphasis is on edu. So especially today, it's Black Ed. But self-love, what down, bro? What say you? What up?
Man, boogers in the house.
That's what's up. Hey, so yeah, I hear you, man. What can you do? I mean, what are you gonna do, right? That's the Murphy's Law for all those who don't know who Booger is. That's Booger Murphy, Booger Balls. He's the whatever can go wrong, will go wrong entity that pops up whenever you're doing something, and for doggone sure whenever you're trying to do something live and in real time, Ansel.
Facts. Got still having some issues. All right, now we switched over, cut my interface off, and
that's all right. What's up, man? What's been going on your side of the city, bro?
Oh man, craziness, bro. The mandate, and a lot of the police force didn't partake. So we're short quite a bit of popo in Chicago.
So the slave catchers, 12, as you guys know them, whose job it is to perpetuate tyranny and tyrannical nonsense, if maybe I'm misunderstanding their position on this chessboard we're in. But these guys, whose job it is to push the tyranny and sip all the Kool-Aid and beat the crap out of the city, right? And force the needle in your arm and down your throat. A lot of them are refusing to get in line.
Yeah, the FOP is saying that they're going to take it to court.
And for context, you guys,
telling people.
Hold on one second. The FOP, that's Fraternal Orders of Female Cats. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
They said that they're telling them to stand down and don't comply.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I was expecting the weather report out there, fella. You came with some Fraternal Order of the Pussycats, and man.
So it started on Friday. So I don't. They haven't resolved it as far as I know. But I'll be unplugged. So I heard this on Friday. I was like, what? Oh, okay.
Yeah, the feds actually made an arrest in the FBG duck case up and ranting about for the last year, like how can this guy rest his soul and condolences to his family, get murked out like that in broad daylight. I hate saying broad daylight. I don't know. Everybody says that. Like, what other kind of daylight is there? Is there narrow? Is there narrow daylight? It's like hardwood floors. So if it's like hardwood floors, are there softwood floors I should know about? But in daylight, you know what I'm saying? And in the most prestigious part of the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cameras everywhere. You got Larry Lightblunt. I mean, the mayor, Lori Lightfoot. Well, Chicago didn't catch him. It was the feds. So.
Well,
the alleged.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's alleged until it's not alleged anymore. Oftentimes it's still alleged after it's not alleged anymore, huh, Self Love?
Yeah, they have the ability to go through all of our devices
and weave together stories.
Oh, put it all together.
Mm-hmm.
Line you up with everybody else.
Start using magic words. Get you a nice jury of
and
people.
do it already. Have it, and then get the proof from the places that they supposed to get it from.
And then they
subpoena the information.
And they shape public opinion. I hear people, and we'll get on with the show, but I hear people say, "But the feds won't arrest you unless they know you're guilty. They got a 98% conviction." What the, you know what I mean? So now we as Goyim have been conditioned. We've been conditioned that if the feds make an arrest, that person's guilty. So this is no longer America. What were you about to say?
Oh, just along the same lines. Tyranny.
Yeah. Tyranny. So, but I guess you guys are wondering, like, what are we doing? So today, what can you expect? Well, Self, what you manifesting today, bro?
Love, self manifesting love. What you manifest?
Love, G, pure, magnificent, magnanimous, unfettered love. So to the guests out there, appreciate your patience. What we're going to do today, what we got lined up, we're pushing out that quality content. It's uncut right here live. This is the Self Love Show. So we're going to roll out our weekly quote of the day. Then we go over our proprietary More Growth and Development program. That's More Growth and Development program. And then we do a real short video, Tattoo Tyranny, how to move or not to move, a quick dome teaser, which is a riddle. And then we'll jump on our topic, which is Black Ed with school board administrator and also STEM Camp founder, who we're very proud to have in the building. He's actually in the cream room right now, Nathan Legardy. Self, I think he's a Q. You might want to throw some dog treats or something in the cream room for him. And make sure he doesn't piss on the carpet back there. All right, and then we're going to have next week's sneak peek. We're going to talk about next week's show after our guest leaves. And then, of course, my favorite part of the whole shebang, which is the co-host, Wordsmith. He's going to lay out a nice little summary of what we discuss in a poetic, metaphysical joint. So do stay around. That's where you get the answer to the riddle, because you guys won't know it. It's just what it is. I'd like to say we have a smart, savvy crowd, but, not so much. Self will get it. So stick around so I can give you the answer to the riddle. We'll tell you what's coming up next week, and then you can hear Self Love wrap everything up. So anybody out there who's in education, any teachers, any parents who may care about their kids, as typed in the chat, this is interactive. We'd love to hear from you. You can definitely add to this discussion. We definitely need more discussions like this within our community, because everything can't be about, who, it can't be about other stuff. We need some balance. So we'll just throw that out there. So also any administrators, anyone, if your child has attended his camp, we want to hear about that. So I'll turn it over to the co-host so he can take care of his business, and we'll keep this whole shebang rolling.
Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, share far and wide. Let's grow the Self Love Nation. We need your help because we're doing this organically, and that means we need you to share with like minds. As always, we have a very important video that I need you to check out, the More Growth and Development platform. And before that, I'm going to have the Self Love Show quote of the day. Love the pet who saw you when you were invisible to everyone else. Love the pet who saw you when you were invisible to everyone else. It's unknown.
That should be people. It's a typo.
Oh. Wow. Hold It's people? Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
More sense if I was.
You can love the pet too, but love the people. Yeah.
Yeah, that does make more sense. And I can get to the right video. And we can be.
I'm gonna send you down there with the undergrads and have you in charge of reading stuff at the Founders, bro. You keep this shit up. Excuse my language. Yo to the noobs. I mean, I typed it wrong, yes, but
yeah, it's on here.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Can't hear anything, bro. I think the volume is down. Production to our production squad. We don't have any volume. Please check volume. Thank you. Meantime, you guys, please like, share, subscribe. Today, we're going to get into how to educate our community. This is mainly our topic, is always Black First. Self-love and I and the nation. We love everyone. We love those who don't even love us. However, we're at the bottom, which means that it's Black first. Okay? Anyone has a problem with that? Can duck us. Go ahead, bro. Yes.
Silverback More Growth and Development Platform. Number 1, repair our nation via reparations. We demand our silver back. Number 2, to connect our breadwinners with our activists. And 3, show an accurate depiction of African American Chi-Town. 4, to shine a light on positive influences. 5, heal our community one person at a time. 6, provide an unfiltered platform for our influencers. 7, recycle the Black dollar. 8, to provide mentors for the mentorless. 9, to close the gap between us and our pink kinsmen.
We're closing the gap. We're closing the gap. Let's get that gap closed.
Gotta get her closed.
Facts. Got to get that gap closed. Most Ricky tick, as they say in the military, huh?
Yes, most definitely.
Man, so man, we had a
one out there.
Oh, get my pictures on, huh? We had a great show. Big ups to production. We had a great show, Self Love. The last one, the big alcohol banter, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's not the title. We're supposed to be bantering about it, but yeah, I don't know what that is. That's Booger. But Self, yeah, the big alcohol, right? So that show was initially removed from YouTube, you guys, right after we did it. They never explained why. Did they, Self?
No.
No, sent some cryptic. Yeah. Sent some cryptic email, but still, they at least give you an idea of what policy it violated. Yeah, nothing. It was just, a convoluted crap. I appealed it, appealed it like 6 times. Didn't type nothing, just appealed it because I didn't know what to type. I guess somebody looked at it. Then they had to come back and say, make it, sensitive content or some crap. Now, you saw that video I texted yourself, videos like that.
Yeah.
There's no warning. People are cussing every word. What's going on?
Right.
What's that about?
Censorship.
That's what it is.
The type of content, certain type of content they don't want to get out.
And but if I was talking about Self Love's channel and calling them all types of dumb black men, right?
My goodness.
Talking about his family.
Oh my goodness.
They wouldn't warn nobody. In fact, the algorithm would share it, wouldn't it, Self?
Yeah, they've got like 10,000, 15,000 subscribers, and it's allowed to do that.
All right, but let's push on. Bro, did you hear about the dirty laundry out there? Rest his soul, potentially.
No.
Well, the Lily Pink girl, I think she got murked out, and they think it was Brian Laundrie. I think that's his name.
Oh, okay.
Became international news for whatever reason. Was she a brain surgeon, or was she she
was a YouTuber.
Did she have 4 million followers?
I'm not sure how many, but she was chronicling their trip across the country.
So, you're missing my point.
It's crap. No way around it. Ain't so yeah.
She was a white girl.
That's what it was, basically.
Okay. Yeah. She was a complete white girl, but I know you stay unplugged. Production, if you guys can do your thing. Get a load of this.
A critical development in the hunt for Brian Laundrie. The FBI announcing that human remains, including Laundrie's backpack, were found in the Florida nature preserve that's been the subject of searches for the past month. Now, officials are not describing the condition of the remains, nor are they confirming that they are Laundrie's, only that the discovery was possible because swamp water in the area had recently receded. Stephen Fabian has the latest.
It looks like they may have found Brian Laundrie's body after all these weeks.
Earlier today, investigators found what appears to be human remains, along with personal items, such as a backpack and notebook belonging to Brian Laundrie. These items were found in an area that up until recently had been underwater.
After the announcement by the FBI, there were cries of justice for Gabby.
Justice for Gabby! Justice for Gabby! Justice for Gabby!
The Sarasota County Medical Examiner and a human remains detection team were called to the scene in the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park. Pathologist Dr. Priya Banerjee.
The fact that these human remains were found in an area previously underwater, what does that do to the condition?
You could have a range, right? Decomposition. You could have anywhere from some soft tissues left to completely skeletonized.
Also found a backpack, reportedly consistent with the backpack that Brian wore in Utah during that now notorious police stop. The Laundrie family attorney tells Inside Edition that last night the Laundries informed the FBI and Northport, Florida police of their intentions to search the swampland this morning for Brian. They met Chris and Roberta there this morning after a brief search off a trail that Brian frequented. Some articles belonging to Brian were found. The dramatic new developments are raising lots of questions, adding more mystery to the case.
Isn't it interesting that hundreds of searchers went through this preserve for more than a month, and then the family, which has not cooperated much at all, suddenly contacts police and say, we plan to go out there and look for him, and then very quickly they find traces of Brian.
Authorities have been searching the swampland for 5 weeks with no result.
The park was closed throughout that entire time it was being searched. Then just yesterday it was reopened, followed by today's apparent break in the case. Now, many had expressed doubt whether Brian Laundrie was ever in that swamp.
Yeah, so that's what we got there. So now, yeah, so the family, right? I'm not saying they should have. Right? But I felt like right? They found him quick.
Very fishy, no pun intended.
I think it'd be a lot more heavy-handed as far as their tampering and the criminal charges brought against them. We'll see what happens, but come on.
Something is very, very fishy. Like they go out first day and find him. You know what I mean? Like, well, we know where he frequented and blah, blah, blah.
Well, you couldn't have told the feds that. I mean, I'm not saying you had to as a family member, but they were probably going out to give him more supplies and found out he offed himself. But I had told Mom, man, I said, I told Mom, I said, man, he's probably, he went out there with supplies and just enough to last for a certain thing, and he's probably gone already, meaning made his transition. Or he went out there and found him a homeless body. Yeah, but the feds will look into that.
Yeah, they will.
Man, so if that is him, rest his soul and to what's her name? Rest her soul as well.
Yeah, Gabby something.
Yeah, and condolences to the family out there. Yeah, so we got one more, man. We got to get this going. In fact, man, we'll save it for next week. Let's just, we'll save it for next week. We'll just go ahead and get it going here. So enough of the, let's get the dome teaser, though. Dome teaser. We got to do the dome teaser. All right, here we go. Here's the riddle of the day, people. A plane crashed between the border of the fictional town of Silverdale and Chicago. So a plane crashes between the border of the fictitious town of Silverdale and Chicago, Illinois. Where were the survivors buried?
Where were the what?
Survivors buried.
Oh, okay.
You got thumbs up?
Yeah. Didn't we do this one before?
You know what? I was thinking that as I was re-looking at this today, Self, and I was like, Self's probably going to confirm that. So that you just said it, then apparently we did. But let me tell you something. I'm not talking about our guest of, the guest today. I'm talking about the Self Love Nation. They're still not going to get it. You know what I mean? I mean, they're smart, you know what I mean, in a pooky kind of way. You know what I'm trying to say? You know what I'm saying? But we'll push on. But they're not here, Self. I don't think anybody's here for our banter.
Nope.
Yeah. So, how's this go?
Enough of the appetizers?
Yeah, enough for the appetizers, Self.
Let's get on. Let's quench the Self-Love Nation's thirst.
All right, well, roll them production and pick up some production. They're out of Chicago, Illinois. If you want to get in touch with our crack production team, leave it in the comments and show me. Seriously, you're embarrassing yourself and you're embarrassing me. Who let the dogs in? Typing that pretty face. All right. Love you though, Noob. All right, so here we go. Let's see what self-love and oh, okay. Yeah, so we're going to continue our Big Ed series next week, so for next Wednesday. We have a hometown favorite, Nate Legardy. You guys may know him from Phil and Nate.
That's going to be a great conversation.
Yeah.
Expansive. Great time.
Great times. Land of milk and honey. So, kids, go to school, and if you go to school, go to University of Illinois, and if you don't, go to a black school. All right, so here we go, Self. Now we're going to turn it over for my personal favorite part of the Self Love Show, and that's going to be Wordsmith's final words out there.
Like, man.
Do you still have them?
Self-love. Let's get let's have one of the Neos or somebody open up the back door and let this dog in here. So we got coming into the Self-Love Show, a University of Illinois alum. I think he started his journey at Beasley, and that's where B-Funk, Brian Parker, who also sat with us in this series. You guys can look that up. Just Google TATN and Brian Parker. So they were, I guess, B's together. We used to slap them around academically at William H. Ray School. You guys check it out. They got us once, but check it out. And then he went off to be a HF Homewood Flossmoor Viking, a Viking, people. All right, I should tell you something. Because back when we used to compete against them in my high school days, it was nothing but Vikings at that school. we'll unpack that. We will unpack it. He's currently holds a school board seat there, which is huge. Imagine that, holding the board seat in the same place where you walk the halls. And when you walk those halls, maybe they were calling you the N-word. I don't know. I wasn't there. They sure looked at me funny when I showed up there just to compete in basketball and football. And then University of Illinois, Free Chief Illini Iwek. Yeah, no, too soon, too late. Small ups. He's a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. That is one of the Divine Nine. Big ups. And then we've got senior level executive. My research is showing Slayton Search Partners. I believe we'll unpack that. I think maybe he could find you a job or a career. And then this is probably his baby, but this is just pure conjecture, and that's conjecture with a K. He's founder and president of WizKids Foundation, and that was started in 2009, and it's still currently active. So with that being said, if you all in the chat can, put some electronic hands, in demonstration, for this black man, and Self Love and I will get him out of the cream room, get him going, and handle your business, good brother. Self Love and I will get him out of the cream room.
All right. And, my brother, welcome to the Self Love Show.
Good to see you both. Good to see you both.
It's a blessing. Thank you so much for doing this, man. I'm looking forward to this conversation, and know it's going to expand the Self Love Nation. So, man, great to see you as well, brother. It's been a minute.
Absolutely. It's been a while. It's been a while, Tori. I miss your daily post on Facebook. You were a frequent, but I know you moved on to other pastors, and I'm excited about this venture that you all have going here.
Appreciation.
Hey,
so
go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was waiting on you to come back in.
Okay. Yeah, bro. And I want to echo that sentiment. We spoke earlier on the phone, and we want to save some meat on the bone for this conversation. So we appreciate you doing this. Welcome. And so you guys know we do all of the shameless plugs. In this case, it's not so shameless. So he is plugging the WizKid Foundation. So it's since 2009, WizKids Camp has provided summer enrichment programming designed to foster growth and build lasting relationships. See, that's huge. Their mission is to create environments that give the youth an opportunity to have life-impacting experiences, both athletically and academically, with a commitment to achieving excellence in youth development. Their highest priority is providing programming that is safe, enriching, fun, and interactive. So, bro, before we jump into it, you got anything to add or delete?
No, I mean, I think you described WizKids originally as my baby. It's kind of a labor of love. It started out as just kind of a vehicle that would give my daughter, who was turning 5, an outlet, a positive outlet over the summer where she could remain active physically as well as intellectually, kind of grow. And, at the time, my wife and I were just kind of looking for a place that where she wasn't going to just be babysit or, run and play games all day, tag and red light, green light. And so I created something that was constructive. The community got behind it in a big way, and it grew. And we serve a couple hundred kids every summer. Obviously, COVID interrupted that for the first time in 2019 in a big way, but we were able to rebound this year, and we're back and adding programming and planning to open registration hopefully in the next month.
Yeah, that's great, man. And we're gonna get more into that as we unravel this whole thing. And you guys, I did drop the link to whizkidscamps.com. It's pinned into the comments. So definitely look into that if you know a child, yours, or, it takes a whole, a tribe to raise one. So, yeah, you may know, another child who could benefit from this. And, instead of buying all those PlayStations and stuff like that, maybe you can invest in something like this, which is truly an investment. Because you're going to get value, for a child that you know. And if it's not a child that you know, maybe a child that you don't know. So that's where we're going. And bro, what was your address, man? I want to tell the noobs right here, Self, their crib, Phil and Nate, I don't know if y'all knew this, we used to hide at their crib when we was G's. Yeah. It was close to 402. What was y'all address, man? Because I felt like it was almost kitty corner, but it couldn't have been. But
oh my God, you're about to test my memory from Champaign.
I know, right? Those addresses, I know. I know.
No idea.
But couldn't you see, like, if you were in the right apartment, couldn't you, in the right window, couldn't you see the Kappa house? From my memory, I feel like y'all were right on.
It was close, but it wasn't.
It wasn't a high shot. Okay, all right.
No, it wasn't a straight shot.
You see how it sure felt close.
Yeah, because I felt like that building was on 4th Street.
Yeah, it sure felt close, boy. Oh man, boy, it sure felt close.
I'm sure it felt even closer when you were pledging. So.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So
we had some good times then.
Yeah, great times. We appreciate y'all doing that for us, man. So all right, but nobody's here for that. Let me just jump into this because this is it's one of our more serious topics, which is Black education. So mainly what we normally do is, we've been talking to a lot of Black educators, meaning Black males that are behind the desk or have been behind the desk. Our show is predicated on lessons, not lectures. So we get cats who have actually walked the walk, may have talked the talk, but more importantly, they've walked the walk. And so we've had a lot of teachers and stuff like that. So now we have someone from the administration side, even Brother Pender, Kareem, he was talking to teacher stuff, and then he had been on the administrative side as well, and Salik. So, we just love to, talk to you. So let's just jump it off. So we'll start it out with the first question, which is kind of touching on his early life and how he got into education. Where are you born and where are you raised, just for those who don't know?
Right. So I grew up in the city of Chicago, South Side, the West Side, and went to, I'm a Beasley B. I heard you taking shots at us earlier, but
of course,
Beasley B and a Whitney Young Dolphin.
We couldn't afford Beasley. Go ahead, though.
Whitney Young, my parents moved out to the south suburbs when I was 15 years old. So I transferred from Whitney Young after spending 3 years there and went to Homewood Flossmoor High School. So my parents were educators. Mom, elementary school teacher, eventually became Chicago reading specialist. Dad, longtime science teacher before becoming one of the top administrators at Whitney Young, and then one of the top administrators at Homewood Flossmoor High School. So, education was in my blood since day one. And that was really kind of my foundation.
Okay. And then in your mind's eye, who was the main steward of your education? And I guess that could be a conglomeration. But, in your mind, who was kind of, making sure you was cracking those books, bro?
Well, both parents had a huge influence. It was interesting. I was doing just kind of a review of school rankings earlier this week, and there's this big issue around literacy and how literacy is, just thread into every aspect of education, from the very
life.
Yeah, I mean, and so, if I really had to pin down who was that main steward, both parents were shepherds of my education, but my mom, because of her passion for reading and literacy, she really gave me that foundation, me and my sister, that foundation. And I think that was invaluable looking back on everything. It's invaluable.
Yeah, and big ups to all the moms out there. Big ups. Much love, and also, to yours, obviously. True or false? The parent and or guardian is more important to a child's education than schools and school systems.
I think so, and I'll say why. They're partners, but let's go back to that topic of literacy. And most children develop their reading skills before they enter their formalized education years. They should, at least. When they don't, the schools are forced to play catch up. So while the schools can be a great vehicle, have all the tools, the curriculum, if the child doesn't come with that foundation, if they don't have the literacy skills walking in the door, you're really playing a game of catch up. And so the schools have been looked at to do everything: feed the kids, teach the kids, babysit the kids in some cases. And so they've just really they have a huge importance in our society. I think we saw that illuminated on the pandemic, where everyone went remote. Employers were still trying to make sure that they were able to keep their employees and their workforce engaged. But mom and dad also had to homeschool for the first time. So the schools are important, but without mom and dad, I don't see how a child truly succeeds in this world.
All right, that's fair enough. That's more than fair. All right, well, so I was wondering, man, because I know you had just said your mom was, and your dad. We're not gonna take away from dad. They were instrumental, and so what we try to do is just unravel what's going on, particularly in our communities, and let's have an understanding that every child may not have been in that situation to have had a parent or parents that were willing to make that sacrifice.
Right.
Because that's a sacrifice, and value the importance of literacy, which I want to talk on. If you don't understand literacy, if you're not literate, you can't understand the contract you're signing. You just don't understand it. You're just signing stuff. You don't understand the Constitution of the United States, the Bill of Rights. You just don't understand anything.
Right.
And then we decide, okay, well, I'll let my mom or, my wife or my girlfriend do it my whole life. And do they really understand it?
Right.
So big ups, to those pushing literacy. All right. Why do you think you were successful in school? And then I want you to also answer a two-part. And then what made you say, okay, education is going to be my pathway, further? So why did you think, what made you successful in school, as an individual? And then why did you then choose education as your way out, so to speak?
Well, if I go beyond my parents, certainly I was very blessed to be in some really, really good, excellent academic circles, and that was intentional. My parents, they knew the importance of putting their children in the right places to get that pathway for success. So had some great educators, people who took an interest in my personal development along the way. Later in life, it was more important, where you have to be more self-driven and self-motivated. So I developed that. But, certainly I think the foundation is that I had, as I mentioned, the schools that I was at, the educators that were there. And then also, I think, you have to have people that are going to advocate on your behalf. And so I had no shortage of that along the way, whether it was my parents or other people. A lot of people advocated for my success. So that's what I would attribute it to. And what was your second part to that?
Well, sorry about that. I'm monitoring the chat as we go. And the second part is what made you choose education as a pathway for your growth and development? Like, as a child, somebody might say, man, I'm gonna hit these streets. Somebody else is gonna say, I'm gonna get a trade, learn how to paint or be a machinist or what have you. Somebody else might say, just take different paths. I'm gonna take the athletic route, or I'm gonna sing. What made you say, and I know we talk about parents who nudge us, but that's an individual decision, to a man. And so what got you there?
Well, I think honestly, you have to kind of look at the time, and I'm gonna date myself now, or date all of us for that matter. 70s, 80s was that time when we had our culture pushing the message that college is the way to go, right?
Yeah, Bill Cosby with the sweaters. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Different world, all of those cultural outside influences that were coming at us, even in music. I mean, it was very clear that was the way to go. Now, certainly you had your outliers, you had your athletes and entertainers, but that wasn't the strong pull, because there were so many other messages that said, hey, if you just go, get a job, or go to college and go to grad school, whatever, and you'll be successful. That was a strong pull. And so it was I didn't have a lot of things that were taking me off track. I wasn't, even though I went to Whitney Young on the West Side, or Beasley right across from Robert Taylor, I'd never got pulled into anything that would take me off course, right? And so that I consider myself fortunate, because to your point, everyone didn't have that situation. But that was my reality. Moving out into the suburbs, I remember folks would be like, you all are the Cosby family, right? So, I think if I think about it hard, it was really easy for me. And I think now my view, I appreciate it even more, because I have a macro view of so many kids, whether they be, the younger kids that come up through the Whiz Kids program, or the kids at the high school, who have a much different reality in many cases, and family structure in many cases. And so things are a lot, and I think about my own kids, and the challenges, the messaging that is they are inundated with. They've got the social media, which we didn't have. So you have all these different pulls that just didn't exist. They didn't distract. And so now, that's something I think this world we have to contend and manage.
Yeah, you made me, just have a thought. I know that you said that you came up kind of Cosby style, or people would say that, because Dr. Law said that, kind of, about his reality. And, you know, I look back on it now, I can say that to a certain extent as well. You know what I mean? It wasn't, you know, I'm not going to say I was Cosby at all. Nobody was looking at me like, man, y'all the Cosbys. That's not what I'm saying. But when you know, comparatively, you're like, okay, yes, you know, things are different, and things seem to be quite different even today. Like the income divide, you know, the money people are making, the ownership, it doesn't seem to be there as much within our communities. Whether you're painting a wall, you're the plumber, there's no more of that.
Yeah, the middle class has been almost erased. And that's what we were. I mean, we weren't, you know, Claire Huxtable was a lawyer.
Correct.
Cliff Huxtable was a doctor.
You're saying they didn't own the practice. Well, he did in the basement, but she didn't own her practice. Right. But go ahead.
No, and you know, to juxtapose it, my parents were educators. So when you talk about income levels, right, the middle class, there was still an opportunity to be viewed as, I won't say super affluent, but you were comfortable. And whether you were an electrician, if you were a painter, there was
whether you was working at Marshall Fields,
whether you were working in retail, and you know, that's for years I've done executive search in the retail industry, and I can tell you, I mean, you would be shocked at some of the income levels of managers all the way up to, you know, district operators. That has changed drastically, not just for Black people, but Americans in general. And so the 1% that we used to call the 1%, honestly, I'm wanting to say it's the 0.1% now.
Yeah.
Well, Self Love's gonna have a question. I'm gonna throw it to you in case he does. But before I do that, I want to just say big ups to Stace Dude and Yo Noop. He said, "What up, fools?" from San Diego. And he said he wants a TATN mug. All right, Noop. For you, it's gonna be $175. All right, because I know you got it. And then we got Nathan Legardy. Yeah, he put a female cat in there. And then we got
is that
a dog? What'd you type in there, dog?
You know what it is.
All right. And then we got Omni Overseer, Beta Noob. He said Las Vegas in the building, Yo Noob. He said, oh, look at this. Look at this guy. He figured out the riddle. It's a shame that you gotta treat people together. Or if I was a teacher, I'd be treating the crap out of them kids, you dummy. You know what I mean? I wouldn't call them dummy, that's bad. But you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. I'd be treating them. Bet you can't do it. You know, but I reward them. You got to treat them, man. And then, but you're right. He was right. But he said you don't bury survivors. So he was right. Cortland Campbell, Yo Noop. He said, my man, Nathan Legardy.
Portland.
Yeah, small world, huh? And yeah, you were at high school with my ship, Kier, huh?
Yep. Yeah, for Cortland and Kier. And I go back to Beasley with Cortland. That's my guy.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, he's a Beasley B too?
Man, I almost went to Beasley too.
And we're everywhere. We're everywhere.
Beasley used to piss us off at Ray because we used to sit back on our laurels, bro. We had nobody to worry about as far as that Iowa test, you know. And Beasley came out of nowhere in like 83, and pow! I'm like, who the fuck are they, bro? But we took pride in that. Man. We came back the next year and well, I think they did some stuff at Ray. They put a lot of kids in LD. You know, Ray used to move people around. They'd kick you out of school to keep those numbers. Ray was jerry-riggering, bro. Gerrymandering. All right,
we had a lot of kids from Ray that were in the academic center at Whitney Young with me. So big ups.
Yeah, man. They you know, they didn't really want to educate us, but they had to because we were there. All right, so now we got Gloria Miller. She said, love yourself in the back of the bus where the driver can't see you. Yeah. All right. Big ups. Now, yeah, big ups to Gloria Miller. All right, so now let's keep it pushing forward. Let's see. Self, did you have a question for this brother before we move to the next segment?
How did sports play a part of your early upbringing?
Big time.
Wasn't he in a picture with Arthur Ashe or somebody? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, back then we played everything, right? I mean, the alley was where we played the World Series, the Super Bowl, and the NBA championship. So, I mean, sports was in me from early on, whether it was Little League Baseball, playing at the YBA, and then certainly tennis. I think tennis is where I really kind of shined the most. Joe White tennis camp in Rainbow Beach was really the epicenter for a lot of great tennis. Whitney Young's own Katrina Adams came out of there, and several other people who really did some wonderful things on the tennis circuit. That was where I met a lot of people. That was where I built my social network. So that, took me all the way through high school until I tore my shoulder up. But oddly enough, I came back to tennis because Whiz Kids started as a tennis camp. So it kind of came full circle, right? And I'm, made sure that a lot of these gifts are being passed on to kids today in our area. That was a need here. So ironically, my experience allowed me to kind of share that gift and pass that legacy.
To me, that's the meaning of life. Oh yeah, I got lost in the chat though. Minister Wakil L said, "What's cracking, my brothers? What down, good brother?" Daryl Smith, yo, Noop. He gave you some electronic hands. Tasia Sherrill said, "Hey y'all, what's up, Tasia Sherrill?" Cortland Campbell said, "My man Nathan Legardy." I think we said that. We did, Gloria. And Daryl Smith said, "Good show, Noops." And he said, "What up, Nate?"
Oh, is that my former neighbor, UIC, Daryl?
Yeah.
Tell Daryl I said what up.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, that's
former
him.
Golf buddy. That's my guy.
That's him. Like, share, you guys. Like, share, subscribe. Let's get more people in here because we are going to get into this content. We're going to get more into this content. We're going to jump into the second segment here shortly. We're going to break down more growth and development program that's more on the Black First type topics, what we could do community-wise to heal our communities. And some of the messiahs just move the hell out because everywhere we go, there we are. You can't hide from yourself because everywhere you go, there you are. I mean, I get it in the short term. That's what you got to do to get your kids. But at some point, I think we got to stop playing musical chairs with ourselves. So that's the kind of stuff we're going to get into here. So let's see here. But I did, my bad. Let's see, y'all. I did want to go into real quick. You guys, make sure you check out the Ultimate Camp Experience. That's WizKidsCamps.com. We're sitting with Nathan Legardy. He's also an administrator on the board at Home with Flossmoor. So education is his forte, and they're educating at camp, and they're also pushing athletics. So why would you choose Wiz Kids? Since 2009, Wiz Kids Camps have provided summer enrichment programs designed to foster growth and build lasting relationships. Our mission is to create environments that give young people an opportunity to have impacting experiences, both athletically and academically. With a commitment to achieving excellence in youth development, our highest priority is providing programming that is safe, enriching, fun. Let the kids play, people. Let the kids play. And interactive. See, these kids, they don't go knock on each other's doors with baseball gloves and then or tennis rackets in his case and say, let's go over here and hit the ball and off the wall and play. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different world. Much different world. And you guys like, share, subscribe. All right, let's get them in here. Like, share, subscribe. So let's see. Let me jump into the next one here. All right, there we go. All right, let's see where we're at. Yeah, okay, all right, segment 2, you guys. That's more growth and development. So just jumping right into it. This is number 1 on our topics. What's your thoughts on reparations? Your thoughts on reparations, please.
So I've got many thoughts on reparations. Let's just start with for foundational Black Americans, it's long overdue. I think this country has, for 150 years plus, attempted to ignore its sins of the past and the hole and the deficit that it dug, certainly with slavery, but certainly with the ongoing oppression and that Black people have had really had to contend with since Reconstruction. So, reparations, what does that look like? I think, that could certainly be in monetary forms. And so to that, I would say they need to cut the check.
Cut the crap, cut the check. What do we want? Cut the check. When do we want it now? All right, go ahead. I'm listening.
But then also, there's land. There's an issue of land, and that is due as well. And so we have to figure out and have an honest conversation about how we go about obtaining that. I think it has to, every time this topic comes up on the national debate stage, it somehow gets kicked to the side. We have these side issues that inevitably the political parties decide to prioritize. So I think we have to make sure and be honest and not get distracted and off code in our messaging that we expect reparations. We want that to be not only a study, but we want delivery and results from that. And so I think you see that happening in places like California, and I think, in North Carolina, they're doing studies, and Evanston, Illinois, they've got a reparations program.
Yeah.
We need to have that on a large scale, especially in places where you have a condensed amount of foundational Black Americans that really are struggling. And it's a generational curse almost that in whole that they can't get out of any other way except for repair.
Especially after you tie together the fact that every time we were separated, we did very well. They come and burn it all down.
That's right. Yeah.
And take everything.
Tori, I mean, that issue, like I said, it wasn't just slavery.
Right.
It was ongoing, sustained
yes.
pressure that we continue to get from the dominant culture. And I mean, we don't need to talk about just Tulsa, but
right.
talk about Wilmington.
It's 88 cities and towns that were.
Yeah, burned. I mean, it's just, you can go on and on. You could have shows from here to Christmas time.
Yes.
And just talk about that.
Yeah.
And so I think we have to be, again, on code in our messaging and expectation, politically and economically, that this is a serious issue that we're not going to ignore.
Facts.
And anybody who suggests that this talk on reparations is about sitting on your butt and waiting for a handout or something like that, I'm gonna say this: go do your work at your place of employment, and then on your payday, okay, I want your employer to come in and tell you what you're sitting around waiting on a handout for. So now the handout was given to those people mainly who came from Europe.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that were divvied out the handouts.
Yeah.
So I just want to make that absolutely clear for anyone who's looking at this, and for your understanding, you may be from a different part of the world or the country or what have you, and you're looking at this like, these people are looking for handouts. No.
Yeah. Those same people that got the handout tried to tell us to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps.
Correct.
There's a famous speech
where
Martin Luther King is addressing a very small
Dr. Martin Luther King.
Yeah, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King.
Yes, sir.
Jr. was addressing a very small leadership group where they were strategizing their second march on Washington, and Poor People's March. But he was telling them that we're going to Washington to get our check.
Yeah.
And they don't show that. They show the
no.
They show the, I have a dream.
Yeah.
But every time we have an awakening, as I said, there's a distraction. And in the 60s, they just used to assassinate our leaders who were getting on to that messaging, but it hasn't changed.
Yeah, you guys they literally filtered out. If you like the "I Have a Dream" speech, do yourself a huge favor and read it in its entirety.
Yes.
And you'll understand why he got a big bullet sandwich.
Yes.
Rest his soul.
Yes.
He was talking about human rights and also feeding poor people, ending the hunger pain. And then if you can end the hunger pain, you can end the slavery. Self Love has said many times on his show that, it's hard to wax poetically and think about, science and mathematics, when you got a big hole in your belly.
Facts.
So go ahead, Noop. My bad.
It's it's idiotic to think that these people were given everything and taught that we did nothing, when we are the ones that gave them everything. It's all built on us.
Off the sweat of
And all of this history is just false. They lied about everything to try to keep us at a certain aspect of
truth.
Yeah, where we can do or not do as well.
Now, along those lines of self-love, now, Brother Legardy, I know you travel a lot, and you've seen different parts of the world. So when you stomp this planet, what's foreigners or pink people's perceptions of you? The Cosby Kid, African American. Are you getting comments? Are they surprised by your success? What type of stuff are you hearing as you stomp this planet? Tell them you're from Chicago, South Side.
I think it just depends on where you are. I tend to get good reception wherever I go, and that's just been. Because I'm approachable. I'm usually in a circle that's not necessarily hostile, right? So I don't think people really, they're not shocked when they see someone like me or I don't get inquiries like, how did you do this? Or how did you get here?
Right.
It's and it's been very few occasions that has happened. And so
would you get that more in America than you would abroad?
In the few times it's kind of been a coin flip. I think the last time I can recall, if I'm really thinking hard, South Carolina. I was A couple years ago, I was in.
This boy fancy. He can read. Go ahead, bro.
I was at Kiowa Island, which they just had the PGA Championship at a few months ago. I was at Kiowa Island, and I remember thinking, as you know, and it was in October, so it wasn't high season where you have a lot of. You'll see a lot of us traveling anyway.
Right.
Right. And Kiowa is just outside Charleston, right? And so we don't need to go into the history of Charleston, but it's literally an hour away from Charleston. And very high-end resort.
Right.
And I didn't see any of us until one day, I think I was there for 7 days. I was at the driving range at one of the golf courses, and I saw a guy who was a resident. And it turned out, he was telling me, he lived on the island, and my mom had already told me to look out for one of her friends who lived on the island. I said, "Oh, do you know this gentleman?" He said, "Oh yeah, we're neighbors." So, but outside of that, I didn't see anybody else who looked like me. And I remember I was at dinner one night.
Yeah.
And, the eyes, they're looking at the table, they're looking over like, very curious. But, outside of that in the US, most of the places I'm going, they're not shocked. I've been in Mexico in some places where, they kind of look at you a little weird. But these are like resorts, and
so they're going to see other Black Americans.
Maybe, it just, so it's, but nothing hostile, and that's good. Maybe people are a little bit more. I kind of chalk that up to just people want to be by themselves if they would, just take to themselves, or keep to themselves. But I don't recall being around a lot of folks who are shocked at success. And I think that's progress.
Yeah, no, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I was just say, I can contrast that to when my parents would take me and my sister to resorts, and there's a very funny time, and I'll keep it short.
Go ahead, bro.
We were in Mexico. We were in Acapulco, and my dad, if you ever see my dad, he has features that look like Walt Frazier of the New York Knicks. 6'4". He had the big heavy sideburn.
Is Walt a noob? But go ahead, bro.
So we're at the swimming pool, and my dad is there, and people think he's Walt Frazier, and they're running up to him to get his autograph. And so I'm in the swimming pool, and my mom told me what was happening. I was a shorty. And so people, were coming up to me, "Hey, what's your name?" Nathan Legardy, Frazier.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I mean, when I'm at certain places, if I happen to be at one of those, that's what they assume I am, some sort of rapper, and then they see my hair or entertainer. My wife and I were at the airport. This guy swore I was Sway from Sway and Tech. Taking my bags, he wouldn't take a tip. I told him a million times I'm not that guy. You know what I'm saying? And little did he know my wife's actually the actress. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
He's
right,
so fixated on Sway. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? And what are you doing here? Finally, I had to lie to him at the end, and told him, "Here, let's get a picture, man. You know everything. I'm Sway." You know what I'm saying? But actually he was black. But I'm saying I had another brother who tells me though that when he goes to these high-end places, they'll mistake him for the help. And he thinks it's on purpose a lot. He thinks that's some sort of dog whistle. Because he said he'll be wearing the high-end Rolexes and all of that. Looks every bit as high-end as them. But they still want to sit there and have him hold the door and give him the keys and act like he's the bellhop. It's that way of putting you in your place. And, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah, no, it's, you know, I get that in the grocery store sometimes, or if I'm shopping somewhere.
But you're different. You're different than the rest of them. You've never gotten that, bro? But you've never gotten that from a white person. But you're different. They used to say it to me at U of I like once a week. You're different, but you're different than the rest of them.
But that's why I said I called it progress, because certainly, as you know, when in the younger years, I mean, that you would probably get that a little bit more.
Yeah, and they're not. I'm not. And those are the liberals. But you're different. You know, they'll be like, you're different, and you know, it's like they're comparing you to like project people, what have you, and you're telling them no, I'm no different. It's just a set of scenarios and circumstances.
And they're comparing you to stereotypes, because most of the people talking about you different don't even have much experience. That's what I've come to realize when I got a little bit older. I was like, oh, they didn't even put around. No, that was the only black person that was around to me, and it was different.
But you know how to make them pink, people. You know how to make them more pink when they say that. You're quite different too. You're different than the rest of them. You're different than the ones. That's how you be on cold, boy. You're different too. You give them something go home and think about. You hit them with a dog whistle. You're not like the rest of them.
And I think to that point, and we're now talking about topic of racism.
Yeah.
Whether it be subtle racism.
Yes.
The dog whistle has changed. The code language has changed. It's gotten a lot more sophisticated, and so you have to listen for those cues. But it's not like it used to be, you know, as prevalent as it used to be when people are coming up to you and saying, you know, how did you get here? Or, you know, they'll say, what do you do? What's your profession?
Mm-hmm.
Tori
said they used to come around his house like that when y'all
that's their way. And so even we moved to Flossmoor, that was when more African Americans were moving there, but they still wanted to know what you did, right? And what do your parents do, right? And so,
but here's the difference. That's harmless when it's other white people, right? They go over there, it's harmless. They want to do business with them. I feel like, and I could be wrong, you know, oftentimes, at least half of the time, when they're coming over there to welcome you and asking you those questions, because I question everything, I don't answer questions. They want to find out if you're a drug dealer, a rapper, or something. And then if they can call the police on you, but they don't want to do business with you. They don't sit there and then say, oh, I got a contract. I got a friend who can.
I'm not even sure they go to the other white people and ask them, well, what do you do? I'm not sure they do that.
Now, I'll tell you that may not be, and I'll just tell you from the executive search. My experience has been a little bit different in that regard, in that realm.
Lessons, not lectures. Go ahead, bro. Talk.
So certainly you have to initiate, and you have to be kind of a bulldog when it comes to creating networking opportunities.
This is what we need to hear. Go ahead, bro.
Their interest, to your point, is not necessarily, their first mind isn't thinking, how can I do business with you? But certainly if you create that verbiage or that vibe,
that narrative.
Yeah, that, hey, you know, I know someone and we need to connect because of this. If they see a way that they can economically benefit, they're going to take it.
That black skin becomes green.
Everything in America, ultimately, that is the most important color.
Well, that brings us to this question and tied into what you're about to say. How do you think we should close the financial divide, the black first people here, the foundational, between us and our pink kinsmen or counterparts?
Well, I think we have to change our discussion from political discussion and relying on political parties and are the Democrats going to save us or the Republicans going to harm us, to black empowerment. And what black empowerment means is, you know, we're going to have to find ways that can generate an economy within our communities. And I think you were saying that before the last break. We can't keep running to the next best thing, right? We're going to have to kind of put our flagpole in, just like every other class of folks in this country have done, and create empowerment. The Irish created, they were some of the poorest, if you look at their history, some of the poorest immigrants.
Man, they used to stink. My mama said they used to stink on the buses and stuff. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, but they created empowerment based on creating an economy within their communities. Now, Tori said it earlier, we did too, and they bombed us.
Facts.
And so we have to get back to that, and then I think we have to learn our lessons from the past.
Which is security and being the spook that sat by the door and having our own shadow security team that nobody talks about. That's
you got to have a security component to it, and that's what the Irish did. That's what the Italians did.
Everyone did
that.
We need our hackers. We need everyone. Yes. And I'm talking about friendly hackers for all the feds, because YouTube is just the federal government. We're talking about what do they call them? Beneficial hackers. Yes, for the community. We're not talking about hacking into your system. We're not talking about treason, for the record. All right. You see what I got on my head? See, when I wear this, we usually go the hardest. Just FYI. All right. Just FYI for everybody out there. All right, so Self Love may have a question in this segment, and then I believe we had something in the chat. And before you go, Self, the phone lines are open. Should you have a question, it's 424-900-6945, 424.
That's troll free.
Completely troll free. That's 424-900-6945. Trolls get holes around here. Yeah, Brother Smith, ethical hackers. Yes, that's the term. Yes. Ethical hackers. Yes, we need all of that in our community. We need ethical doctors. We need, ethical lumpen proletariats. You know what I'm talking about, Self? Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. So that's definitely what we need. But I'll throw it to you, good brother, before I do the question in the chat.
One of the foundational principles we have is mentorship. Can you talk about mentorship?
I think, you all talked about it earlier. Everyone doesn't have that family structure. And I think if you look at the Black community, our family structures are way different than they were 50 years ago, by and large. And so mentorship is, it's a huge thing for us. Just in terms of making sure you have great visibility in your communities. You understand how to not just give back, but be present. That's a complex concept, but certainly you see the fraternities and sororities, they do a lot of programming. You see, places like the Urban League, certainly school districts have mentor programs. HF has an outstanding one for both boys and girls. It just takes a lot of stepping up, and either in organized fashion or just, that single mom, and she may need some assistance with having a father figure. And I'm not talking about anything except for, hey, my son is friends with your son. Hey, he can hang out and go with us for pizza after the soccer game or something like that. So he can see what a man is like. And you can come up with examples for the reverse. And I'll give you an example. In 2011, I got divorced. And so I found myself the single father of two kids. and they were young kids at the time.
Yeah.
And so I said, boy, they need, when they're with me, if I'm going to get with a mate, I want to make sure that that mate is an example to these young people. And so I was very intentional. I got remarried in 2014, but I was very intentional about who I made my mate.
Right.
And she's, a true mother to my two kids. So, I think mentorship it can be your family. It can be your next door neighbor. There's no formula for it, but it is critical, especially in our community.
Thanks.
Yeah. And to the parents out there, you may feel like your child is going to be 1 million with you. Just think about when you were a child. You don't want to disappoint your parents and things of that nature. I don't think they get all of the information, or maybe I was just a bad kid. At any rate, by mentoring, there is an exchange of information, even for the non-parents out there. There's going to be an exchange of information. In other words, your wisdom, you're going to push lessons of love and lessons, not lectures. But then they're going to be able to tell you what's going on in today's generation and what's hot, things of that nature. And it's going to keep you keep you in tune to what's going on and what's coming. Because most of us as adults, as we get older, we truly do not know what we do not know, because we do not listen to the generation behind us.
Thanks.
So we did have a question in the chat. This is from I'm the Overseer. He's a greater beta noob. Self Love made him. He came through the group after me. And he's also, he got Self Love Nation Recipient of the Year. I mean, he's a great supporter. So his question is, Nate, did your friends call you Theo in school?
Folks still call me Phil. So Tori, I saw Tony at Marlon's wedding, and he got up, and we haven't seen each other in years. He was like,
always.
Phil.
He's always.
Almost.
I always get the wrong name. You, Kurt and Pat, and Phil and Nate. If I see Nate, I'm calling him Phil. If I see Phil, I'm calling him Nate. And if
you might have it together now, if you see Phil now, if you get it.
Hell, I think I've called Tory Mills before.
No, but you know what? That's true. You all were basically like Phil and Nate for real.
Yeah.
People didn't know the difference, boy, because it was Tory Mills instead of Tony Mills or Tory. It was Tory Mills.
Exactly. Yeah, you all were freaking frack for sure. So
thick as thieves.
That happens all the time. And yeah, I mean, it probably happens a dozen times a year. They call me Phil.
Facts. So now, you guys, please like, share, and subscribe. We got some more content. Our next segment, we're going to break down, his administration, what he's doing, in the education segment, what we can do as a community to better our community. Using education specifically as a tool. And then he's going to talk about his program, his camp. We got some questions for that. And then we're going to close it out. So, you can call in, and that number, you're going to pay your tolls. Self Love, and I ain't paying for your call. So regular tolls apply, but it is troll free. I want to be clear about that. And then, or you could just type your question in the chat and we'll get it in. If it's respectful, we'll shoot the question to this brother. If it's not respectful, we're going to block you. And when I see you, go ahead.
It's going to be a problem around here. We already know the trolls get hoes around here.
It's halftime, bro. We see you in 6 minutes. Go ahead, Self, do your thing.
Yes, sir. Hey, thank y'all for being here. It's beautiful occasion. We are celebrating the Self Luv Show Black Achievement with Chi-Town's Nate Legardy. Also is a part of our education series. Got some few videos for y'all to check out. Check them out. They good. And we'll be right back at you.
It's halftime. Big up to Nas. In the shine, bro. Today. What's been going on, bro?
Well, you know, this weather's been good, so start shooting. You gotta stop the killing, y'all. Gotta stop it.
Yeah, well, we just had a slight earthquake. And so just hope that was just a, you know, I be feeling them all the time, man. I don't know if it's paranoia. I mean, like, it just happened.
Right. I saw you move a little bit and look up. So, yeah.
Yeah, because it's a moment where you're sitting there like, you know what I mean? Because there's that moment, okay,
is that
I'm headed outside.
No one had used less clothes, man.
No, yeah, he verified.
Fact.
He's a Chi-Town cat. That's for damn sure.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Hey, bro,
Yes, sir.
Hey, Scooter. Hey, if you ain't got nothing else for us, bro, we don't kick no silverbacks out, man. And Self Love and I, we appreciate you doing this, sir.
Man, appreciate y'all for giving me the opportunity, man. So
love, honor, respect.
Hey, big ups and bro, show yourself out. And we love you for this, bro.
Man, appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for having me, man. Been an honor. Scooter chose, be looking out for that new album. The part 2, Wonder Years, another classic, bro. All Our Tears, we coming. Check me out, download the first one. And man, follow me on Instagram at Scooter Chose on all platforms.
Press that mute, please.
What are you looking at, slave?
Do you still have them?
Man, thank you guys for inviting me on. Thank you. Great format, very solid. You know, it don't have that low budget movie feel. You know what I'm saying? And we get that a lot in the Black community, for real.
Yeah.
Like people look at us to be fuck ups. They look at us to be low budget. They look at us to be ignorant, stuttering, and use a whole bunch of and all of that. But no, they got the real deal on here. That everybody know who Torian Mills is, baby. They know.
Hey, well, bro,
They're so ignorant.
Hey, but this platform, your platform. This platform's my platform. From Inglewood, California to
the
Chicago,
South Shore.
Crazy thing about it.
This platform is
made for you and me.
It's made for you.
The crazy
and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. I was trying to get out the end of the preamble, but go ahead, bro.
Yes, sir. Woo!
They don't know I'm gonna be the one.
Oh,
I'm gonna be the one when I'm done.
It's my joint, Trife. Yes, sir. Welcome back to.
Give me the hand signals on the volume. Anyway,
They're starting to try to, booger. Welcome back to the Self Luv Show, Black Achievement with Chi-Town's Nate Legardy. Also, what's this, series 6 and number 6 in the series of the educators.
Yes, sir.
And this has been a expansive conversation. It's going to be more expansive. We got more things to talk about. We've just really been getting into the early age of his life, and now it's trying to expand on, get involved, professional, and just expansive. Big ups to Trife Mac. This is my joint.
I'm gonna be the one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the one when I'm done. Yeah, big ups to Trife Mac. He got his own channel. It's Trife, Trife, and then Mac, Mack. Show him some love and subscribe. So we're back in the building, and you guys, I did drop that link for this camp. We got a brother who, Brother Polk.
It's a little distorted. Yeah, a Brother Polk. Yep, son.
Let me see if I can fix this. Is that better? No?
No. You'll be all right in a second.
Yeah, 1, 2.
I'm gonna cut the music off. Yeah, Brother Kevin Polk, his son was in your camp, right?
Yeah, Kyle was Whiz Kid, longtime Whiz Kid, even Camper of the Year one year.
Okay.
We have 4 different Camper of the Year categories, and he was in our junior high group, and just super kid.
No doubt.
But comes from super family. So
yeah.
Usually how it goes, and I hate that this isn't working.
It's all right. You just back off a little bit.
Let me see something here. Let's see what
good right there. Just talk.
Mic check, 1, 2.
Yep.
Everything.
Yep.
Y'all got me?
Yep. Just talk right there. You good.
All right. So y'all check it out. Click that link. It'll take you straight to the program. It's called Whiz Kids Camp. And they've provided summer enrichment programming. It's designed to foster growth and build lasting relationships. Their mission is to create environments that give young people an opportunity to have impacting experiences, both athletically and academically, with a commitment to achieving excellence in youth. Our highest priority is providing programming that is safe, enriching, fun, and interactive. And, you make these, we always talking about networking and things of that nature. That stuff starts, in your childhood. That's where the foundation is laid typically.
Facts.
All right. So now we're going to jump into, this is going to be segment segment 3, as Self Love explained, of our Black Ed, and this is series number 6. Give me a second here. All right, let's see here.
Like, share, subscribe. If you like this, you know, how are you not sending it out to, you know, like minds that people you know will like this? I mean, this is a perfect opportunity that we were talking about, growing a situation where we can provide an internal economy. I mean, we can link this all together. We can get a think tank, make it happen.
Hey, that's well said, bro.
Well, I think what you all are doing is beyond important. And it takes time to grow things. It does. But as we were kind of talking about the different pillars that we have to grow to have empowerment, communication is at the top of that list. And so creating your own narrative, talking about the issues that are most important. So you're not having to respond to the other mainstream issues that they want to make important.
We refer to that as white noise.
White noise. It's you all were talking about the young lady, God rest her soul, who her boyfriend, you know, probably took her out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That has been the dominant story nationally for well over 5 weeks. And so that's nothing that, you know, impacts directly the Black community, but certainly is something that we have to tune into because we don't control our own messaging.
But it does send a subliminal message that white lives matter.
Yeah,
it does.
It does.
That's why but in the community, people would be like, leave those white people alone because you're going to bring too much heat. So there's a conditioning that's going on there.
There's conditioning, there's programming, and that's always existed, but that's why it's important to have these types of vehicles. We have a U of I mate, Mays Jackson, who's created his own
I've watched
vehicle.
Yeah.
Those are the types of things, and there are many others that we can go down the list. Dr. Boyce Watkins has his vehicle. Those are the types of vehicles that we have to be able to control our narrative, because for them, that young lady's life absolutely matters. But then we've got Jelani Day, who was massacred. And we're having, my fraternity is having a hard time trying to lobby to get the FBI to get involved with what appears to be an obvious murder, right? He was found in the Illinois River, body decomposed, but when they really did the pathology, his jaw was cracked. I mean, there was massive trauma to him. So skull, caved in. This wasn't a...
He didn't fall in water and drown. Right.
No. So, but who's going to make that the priority? Who makes that decision, right? And so if we control that, then we can control our own messaging. And so as long as you think it's taking to build the audience and build the medium, it's all worth it, right? I started Whiz Kids with 14 kids. 14. And I was just like, only 14 kids. It's now a couple hundred kids every summer.
Yeah, wait.
So it's be careful what you ask for also, right? Because now I grow gray hair. You can't see it. It's in my beard. Yeah. But I get a gray hair every single day in the summer because I'm worried about these kids and their safety, stuff like this. So it's a big responsibility, but I think that's what you all are building. And so what we have to do is get behind you and push and push, get behind Maze and push and push, and get behind Boyce and everyone else. So we look up in 5 years and you do have mediums that we are controlling. It's not just Roland Martin who, you know, I don't know if he's pushing, whose narrative he's pushing to be right. So we have to have our portfolio.
In my opinion, that guy is a spook. That's just my opinion.
I think
he's pushing the CIA's narrative personally, but that's just how I feel. I'm not saying that for fact.
He certainly is not talking about the issues contextually that I think are most important to us. When I hear you gotta vote, but it's not substantiated with what are we getting
for the vote. Yes. He just runs around and talks to people like they're dumb. You gotta vote. They trying to block us from voting, and your people die for your right to vote. He walks around. What are we voting for?
Yeah, what are the tangible returns?
Correct.
So if we want to talk business, let's talk business.
Correct.
What are the tangible returns that we're getting for our vote?
Because we've been voting forever. You know, and the Asian hate bill got passed right away. Everything gets passed right away. They tell us to wait, right? Didn't they tell us right before the election? Let me tell y'all something. I was personally done with the Democratic Party before the Obama election. I was done. They threw me that symbol. I said, you son of a... I said, boy, they threw me that black man had those Chicago ties. I said, you son of a gun. You know what I mean? And Michelle behind him. I said, y'all got me for another 8 years. But I was done then. And then Trump comes out with all his nonsense. But bro, no more. No mas, man. Y'all ever play monkey in the middle? You ever played monkey in the middle where I'm the kid and you and Tori got the ball?
That's what's happening.
That's what we've been since they've given us the right to vote. Go ahead, Nate.
Well, no, I mean, you're spot on. They distract you, they allure you, they scare you, but they don't really give you that. They don't give you the tangible things that say, okay, this is why I'm here. And every other class gets that. I mean, there's a thing called lobbying for a reason.
We get stuff that's for everybody, like student loan forgiveness, which is going to help everybody. We get stuff like they have us voting for healthcare, which is going to help everybody. They have us voting for infrastructure, stuff we've been paying taxes for to have fixed in the front. And we go vote like, nah, but the infrastructure bill, and they're going to fix it. No, that's not helping us. It's not helping our families. What do you say to that?
Well, what I say to that is that's why having this messaging vehicle is the most important thing, because we have to have an alternative to the Roland Martins that says, you know what, we're not going to vote unless there's got to be conditional
facts
and conditions put on our vote. And that's important. I know Brother Ice Cube, he was absolutely dragged during the home stretch of the last election. And he was dragged because there was a lot of fear. And I understood intellectually, I understand the fear because I understand propaganda. So we have to have alternative messaging, and we have to be able to say, hey, you know what?
Yeah, but they let Cardi B, I don't even think she's foundational. Cardi B didn't get dragged for going to the White House and asking for things. Kim Kardashian didn't get dragged. I mean, is it because she's got a big butt? Can we say big butt?
They didn't have an agenda.
Not sure.
They didn't have an agenda that explicitly says, bullet point by bullet point, these are the tangibles that we expect. And so until you have somebody who can keep the conversation there, that's fine. If Asians and other subgroups get their returns, they should, because they're lobbying for them. But we're keeping our discussion here, guys, and we've got a very, very sizable population of voters that I'm pretty sure both
We've
parties
been swaying elections. We've been swaying elections in this country since we've had the ability
forever.
to vote.
Yeah, and so if we start to stay home, I'm not saying go to flip the other party. We start to stay home because there's no benefit.
Right.
Then I think that starts to incentivize, especially one party, to change their behaviors.
Yeah. I want to ask you though, to your professional life, I asked you about when you decided to use education as a vehicle, upward, but you're in school or what have you, when did you decide you were going to take the path that you've taken? If you can give our audience, background of the path that you took, because it's a bit of a unicorn being a Black man in education. It's you just don't see it. And it was a point I was going to make earlier, and maybe you've had noticed this. I had a guest come on and they were saying Mills, you never notice how these young men and these young women, how they act uncomfortable around you. And I said, I just thought it was basic, fear, what have you. They said it's a discomfort because we don't exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Guys like us don't exist. And when we do exist, we're not around them. They've stopped putting us on TV. We clown the Cosby Show and call you Theo and everything, right? We made a joke out of all those positive images, different images, So when did you know that you were going to go into, education, to stuff your bag and then tell them what you do?
Well, it's interesting. I kind of bagged into education. I told you about my parents earlier and their background. I was determined that I was going to go in a totally different direction. And ironically, I read a book by a former president called The Art of the Deal in high school. And
I read that.
You read that, yeah. And so I thought I was going to be the next
commercial. Talking about Donald Trump, number 45. But go ahead.
I don't say his name. You all can say his name.
Donald Trump. You can say Donald Trump. Come on. They want it. He said they want it. Wanted it. Go ahead, bro.
I read that book and I said, I'm going to be this commercial tycoon. And my dad, he had a 15 flat on 83rd and Maryland. And right outside Chatham. And I would go in there and help him renovate that building and sand the floors and paint the walls and change the electric sockets as a high school kid. And I said, this is going to be my future, but I'm going to have buildings everywhere. And I realized through my schooling that there was one component that I didn't have that guy had, and that was access to capital.
Facts.
Became significantly deferred, but I always had that entrepreneurial spirit in my blood. I started my career at Northern Trust in banking, trust accounting. That was just, that space was a bit too, let's call it structured in terms of having someone else dictate your success.
Basically just trying to make you miserable because they didn't have to dictate all of that. They want to blood suck the soul out of you. But go ahead, Brian.
Well,
that's me talking.
And that's what happened. I recognized that very, very early. Went to work with a friend of mine, a guy you all may remember. His name is Ira Mobley. Ira started what was called Base Communications. It was a pager shop. And so imagine quitting Northern Trust to go work in a pager shop. But in my mind, I was going to make this Verizon and help him make it Verizon. It didn't work out. He didn't have the vision. He didn't have the funding for it to do that. So then I find myself back in corporate America. I'm a stockbroker for Payne Weber.
But you skipped all the Phil Nate parties.
I'm about to get to it.
All right, my bad.
Yeah, I'm about to get to it.
We had your timeline. All right.
We hadn't gotten there. So
yeah, man, everybody was like, man, you got to go, man. Go ahead, though.
Phil and Nate was 97. So right around then, I started Payne Weber in 96. Phil and I, so Payne Weber was cool, managing people's stocks and all that stuff. That was cool. But then you get off, the market closes at 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my mid-20s.
Right, you're going to the bars down there, happy hour.
Yeah,
maybe you're not, but
we still hadn't stopped partying since undergrad. Right. We were still partying.
I just know how they get down there paying Weber and the stocks, but go ahead, bro.
Yeah. So,
not saying you necessarily.
No, of course.
Yeah.
But Phil and I and World and a couple other guys would get together and we would try to throw parties. We threw one party and it was like 2 people showed up. It snowed. Literally 2 people showed up.
But whose idea was it? Like, who decided? How do y'all sit around and come home and say, man, let's start throwing parties and invite all our Cosby type friends? Because it was a great idea, man. And y'all should have kept it going, bro. Y'all had all the high yellow. They did, bro. It was a whole community they had, man. That list y'all had, bro. You know what I'm talking about. They did, bro. But go ahead. How did it happen?
So what ended up happening was, if you think about the landscape, and this is I guess been the story of my life.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have a lot of things that spoke to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had Shikriks, right?
Yeah.
But nothing really spoke to our audience. You had First Fridays ever so often, and that was cool.
He's talking about Chicago has a way of getting a little maybe too country for some people all the time, and it's not that we're against it. We love it. But everybody doesn't have to be wearing alligator shoes and curls in their hair and telling everybody what gang they're in. But go ahead, bro. Go ahead. This is me talking. It's not nobody else.
You said it, not me.
I said
it. We just basically said, look, we know too many people. I started intentionally getting people's addresses and basically built a list. We threw a party at Cactus Club. I think it was Valentine's Day, 1997.
Okay.
Cactus Club holds about 400 people if you are shoulder to shoulder.
Right.
And it was packed, line out the door. It was snowing. One of your fraternity brothers, Spencer Lee, drove up in a Lamborghini in the snow. I'm like, what are you doing? But it was hot, and we didn't even call it Phil and Nate. It was just hosted by Phil Strong, Nathan Legardy. In fact, World was on the schedule to DJ that night, and he couldn't even get here because the snow was so bad. He was coming from Champaign and couldn't make it.
This is the first party.
First party.
Okay.
And so we took pictures. And we did something with our next flyer that no one had ever done. And that was, we started putting people who were at our first party on the flyer. And that told you who the crowd was.
Yeah. Brilliant.
And so our next party, we went to a club right down the street from the United Center, Moretti's. 800 people showed up. Same deal. It snowed. It was in April. It snowed, but it was unbelievable. So
that snow might keep some of the so-called riffraff away, but go ahead.
It did. And the way we marketed, we were very intentional about how we marketed.
They want to go sliding, but they don't want to go sliding in the snow. Go ahead.
I like that. So we kept it spaced. We were very selective when we went to clubs who we would hand flyers to hand. And, it was like a 9-to-1 ratio. We would give it to the women because we knew the women would bring the select guys. So that's how we built our crowd. And, years later, we're throwing parties at the Museum of Contemporary Art and Michael Jordan's restaurant, renting it out. And had a lot of fun with it. And, but like anything, you know, everything kind of.
That was another thing. Y'all had those interesting venues too, man. It kept it fresh. Yeah. I think y'all was at House of Blues a couple times or something.
We did House of Blues. Yeah. We had ski trips up in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It was, we did swim parties out in Schaumburg.
Mm-hmm.
We did a lot of cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But as you get into your 30s, what's happening?
The tax man is showing up.
People getting married.
Oh, yeah. Moving, taking jobs here and there. And
yeah, so your crowd starts to change. And for me, I want to scale. So it's cool throwing a party for 2,000 people, but how can I take that Hennessy money or take that Soft Sheen Carson money and take my audience and the way that we market, and how can we monetize that in a bigger way?
Well, you'd have to talk to my ship, Marlon. But one thing I say is this, bro.
And we did that, by the way.
Yeah.
Marlon was back even at that time doing stuff that was very supportive of our cause.
Yeah. Big ups, yo, to my ship. Yeah, I was saying, you cats, you said that, okay, I get it. It's like with house music and certain things. Your audience base is getting older, but then how do you stay relevant? How do corporations like Pepsi and Coca-Cola, how do you stay? So you have to keep, y'all had a certain demographic. Obviously your demographic's gonna age, but then you guys, the Phil and Nates, have to go out and get a younger demographic, put them in your position where you were, and have them bring in that same crowd from a younger demographic.
That's where we started to kind of go our separate ways.
Mm-hmm.
There was the vision. We get back to vision always.
Mm-hmm.
And so my vision was I wanted to go more into marketing. Phil wanted to stay more in promotions.
Mm-hmm.
And we did that. He continued throwing the parties under the Phil and Nate banner. Did fabulous. I mean, he did it for years. I continued doing marketing and tried to build an advertising and marketing agency. Only problem I was missing was capitalization to really make it big. And so we were able to get some clients, but I just couldn't generate the business development to get enough of a groundswell of clients, because I wanted to be the better Burrell.
Well, let me talk to the people here real quick.
Yeah.
And this is going to go outside the box and against the grain. And I know you're a corporate guy, and everybody here has money in 401k if that's a certain situation. But I just want to say, if you guys research what's going on with this 401k, we put our money in that, we dump it in there and max out like good little slaves. And they invest less than 1% within our communities, less than 1%. And so we keep having gentlemen, say, man, we couldn't get the funding. And you know why that is?
Right.
Because we, as a community, we take the lazy way out. And let everybody tell us who to vote for, where to invest our money. And then I'm going to complain that ain't no McDonald's in my neighborhood. I put it all in my 401k. You got your 401k? You got to put it all in your 401k, because when you're 65, most of us, you're sitting there, you're eating fat back, and you got a salt tablet in your mouth right now, potentially. No? All right. I'm going to pull back. All right. Too far? Too soon?
No, those are true facts.
These are facts. What I'm saying is I'm not telling people to take money out of 401k, but we need to start investing in one another, right?
Right.
You know, a lot of people smoking cigars, and I got money in this, and I got money in that, and Black First. What money do you have in Black First? Go ahead, you guys. I know I've been yapping.
That's facts. I mean, you have to, that's messaging though, right? Who is telling anyone to do that?
All of those people who show up at the job selling us that, they show up and it's mandatory and we're going to pay you to sit in this meeting and we're going to pay you to sit here and listen to that and it's good for you and your family.
Right.
That's who's telling us.
That's all. But that's my point. There's no counter narrative out there.
Right.
Well, there is, but then they call those people oddballs. There is a counter narrative, but nobody listens.
Well, it's not the, so I don't know how many people are tuning in. I've got all my stuff shut off. But say there are 30 people who are going to listen to the show between now and tomorrow morning. Say it's 50.
Yeah, it's usually. I'm thinking it's probably going to be around 70. Yeah.
Say it's 70 that are going to listen between now and tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, those 70 people is at a critical. We got millions of African Americans, so we need to get our own messaging. And we used to have it. I mean, we used to have it.
It came through the churches. It did. We
Fender,
did. Yep.
Jet, Ebony,
block parties. Yeah.
Well, we don't even own those anymore.
Nothing.
And so we have to get that back. We have to get our own messaging and control our own narratives, and then take that different approach. Black Enterprise isn't telling you to do that, right? And that's owned by my fraternity brother. So you also have to wonder about who is giving the messaging, right? And so that's. I think that's an opportunity for our community. But yeah, I mean, my story is not unique at all.
It's not. We all have it. It's like Brother Beckham sat here and he's like, what we do, we're all so self-sufficient. I'm guilty of it. We all do our own thing and we have a messaging of do your own thing. Get yours, get yours, get yours. Then we'll smoke cigars and go on a golf course and invest in everybody else's stuff outside of our community and won't invest typically. I'm not talking I'm in general, I'm saying, typically, and there's a conditioning, and it's like you said, where's that coming from? Self Love, I have a studio, right? And then I'll start a studio. And then it doesn't cross my mind to say, this money I'm about to put in my studio, why don't I call up Self Love and say, let me put all this money in your studio. I take a percentage of it and we work together. We just don't. We're always seem to be set against each other.
And that's what you have to do, right? It's a challenge because then you've got trust issues. Who can you work with? Who can't you work with? So we have a lot of hurdles certainly in front of us, but that's not an excuse. That should never be an excuse. And we know what excuses are. So I think we have to have a focus. We have to have perseverance, determination and tenacity to truly push through. I have a good friend, fraternity brother. He was named president of Paramount Studios today.
Nice.
That's the Godfather franchise.
Paramount, that's out here, right?
That's out there. Yeah. And so he's president. And so it's in fact, I was
send him the link of the show, bro.
I will.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
But I mean, we were texting each other earlier. He's in prime position now for the right opportunity to partner and to be that person that you run into and say, yeah, I'm working on this mini movie. I would need some greater support. And
Correct.
He's in a position to actually do that.
Correct.
And assess that. So
but then
it's going to take a little bit.
We don't have the funding to want to pay the proper consulting. Our issue is funding, and that goes back to reparations. You know what I mean? It's always like
us.
That's like us as people, man. Like it's tough. We don't want to pay to help us. We don't want to pay the doctor. It's not that we don't want to, but it's just we don't want to pay the consultant. We don't value that. Why would I pay this person to clean my credit up when I can do it myself? Well, why haven't you done it yourself? These type of things.
Why don't you have a CPA who can actually save you money if you have one?
Save you money. Yes.
Yeah. So it's but this is all messaging because honestly, most of us are first generation really having that exposure, right, to all of this mix and suite of different opportunities. So, but we have to have the messaging. That's why I stress, keep going. It'll grow, and overnight it's just going to explode, and we'll all be better for it.
Hey, from your mouth to God's ears, bro. You know, you talked about your frat brother, man. A beta knew Bob Johnson, man. That was BET. You know, Bob Johnson, that guy's graduated from your school. You know what I mean? And you see how close everything is, but there's something in us, man. Whenever we get something like that Baphomet prints up money. How much money do you need? Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the company might be worth $2 billion. We'll give you $4 billion.
Right. Right. And I think what ends up happening is that's not always bad, because, you know, cashing out and having an exit strategy, that's what everyone has done.
I know, but with the media,
that's with media, that's different. They don't sell the media like that. Unless
you know how much power that was, how much influence that was.
Yeah.
Over, if you influence the Black people in this country, you can influence the world.
You can. And you know, how many times has CBS changed hands? How many times has NBC been sold by General Electric? Microsoft may take an interest in it,
right? But they're not cashing out.
Yeah, they're not cashing out. ABC, you know, so Disney will come in, right? But it usually takes something very special, and they don't change their course. So those are lessons that we have to learn, had to learn. Cashing out is not the evil. Not having a pivot that's even more powerful is the evil. So, you know,
Facts.
These are all lessons.
Facts. And I don't know the details. I'm not judging, you know, that brother, because, you know, that's my noob. But I'm just saying, just like, man. You know, and I'm sure when he was going to sell it, he was looking for a group of us to put their monies together and buy it. And us didn't want to do it. Next thing you know, Oprah and my man's got his own thing going. Tyler Perry.
Well, I don't know Bob's story as well. And so it would be hard for me to
comment on,
and speculate. But what I do know, I think about Motown and that story, and business that was underfunded, struggling, producing great stuff, but struggling.
That's what it sounds like. And then there was a divorce. He was going through a divorce too. Yeah.
Yeah. So at some point you say, man, I need relief. Right?
Yeah.
And somebody throws that bag up,
man,
and you got that relief. So, but we were talking earlier, some of our solutions now we control. We talked about reparations, and that's due. So let's not get away from that.
Right.
But we do have affluent Black Americans who can take control. Like you think about all the NFL players, you think about all the NBA players.
I'm going to include the friendly white people too, who, like we talked about earlier, who just see green. They definitely don't necessarily see the black, you know, and who may want to come on board as well. Yeah.
But these are people who can start their own institutions. Right? You don't have to, you know, rely on Roger Goodell anymore.
No.
Start your own league. Colin Kaepernick, right? But he has to have other like-minded people that are going to be there. But that's the approach that has to be taken. And so when we get that concept,
or buy you a Canadian team, and then all the brothers from here start going to Canada to play. That'll get the NFL's attention. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Competition gets attention. And so the rules of economics they're colorless almost. And so supply, demand. There's no color on that. And so we have to learn those rules. We have to implement those rules. And, it's easier said than done, but that's what has to be done.
Right. I want to shift up a little bit, bro. I know you're on the school board, and there's a lot of parents, and Self Luv actually, used to live in HF, and I mean, out there, and we used to play against them, when I was in high school, very familiar with the school and everything. Oh yeah, yes sir, yeah, and we did. HF wouldn't beat the dog crap out of you. They always went down state. They wouldn't, but they because they were always working on stuff. They'd beat us, but they wouldn't beat the dog. HF wasn't like some of those like Rich Central would beat the dog crap out of you. Thornton beat the dog. HF would beat you because they played in that zone, Self. You know what I mean? And they weren't pressing and all that. So it was comfortable. It was a comfortable loss. But Leo don't know nothing about that losing. All right, but what would you like parents to know? Like, what should they be looking for in a viable school board, school system? Parents who don't know, man, like you said, normally when we're starting out, this might be our first house. This might be our first time moving into a viable community. So, kind of tell us what we probably don't know since you've been behind the curtain.
Yeah, I think, you want to pay attention to the places that are going to give your child the supports. And so let's not just go off of rankings, school rankings.
I've heard that in the series before. Go on.
But each child is different. And so they have different needs. I think about my two children. My daughter, she could succeed anywhere.
So she could succeed at Dunbar or Finger.
It wouldn't have mattered. She's going to be at the top of the class no matter what, because she just had that work ethic,
leadership,
and she has that nose for staying focused. My son, he needed environments that could support him. We took him out of the HF elementary school district, sent him to Morgan Park for a couple of years.
Interesting.
Help build some of those fundamentals. I give him.
You're talking Morgan Park Academy or MPHS?
Morgan Park Academy on 11.
Yes, sir.
To give him a lot more structure. And we brought him back to HF when it was freshman year after he built a lot of those skills. It was fantastic for him.
Okay.
But you have to look for what the environment and probe for the environment that is going to best support your kid. And not be afraid to pull them out if it's not working, right? You have to advocate for your kid. You have to be the squeaky wheel for your kid.
Facts.
And you have to then teach them how to obviously advocate for, on behalf of themselves. But you only get one shot. Only one shot, right? And so it's not about you have to partner. You have to be a partner. You're not just sending your kid there, dropping them off, and expecting them to do everything. Make sure when they get home, right, you're sitting with them and saying, okay, well, what are you working on? When is your test? What homework do you got? Be engaged. Don't just sit and let them sit on their little phones, or you sit on your phone on Facebook taking selfies, forever, and not be engaged in your kid, in your child's life. So I think that would be my message to parents. We go back to literacy. If your kid's not reading, on their own by kindergarten, into kindergarten, we've got some serious issues, and they're probably going to be headed for a world of interventions. So prioritize your child's pre-K learning experience And if you do that, you can set them up for success. If you don't, that's when you're going to have a lot of challenges.
Yeah, I think I had Head Start at Holy Angels.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, my brother was 7 years older, so I was always in a room where there was some studying going on, because so
your mom's an educator, administrator, and
so
his mom graduated from U. What's that?
It's a lot different now.
Oh yeah.
And so it's a lot harder for parents. There are a lot more distractions, a lot more pulls. But
one thing I'll add too, I'm not a parent, but I've been a student. And what I would do, and some of it was my mom's technique. Every student is different. She wouldn't harass me necessarily about my schoolwork, right? So initially there was a standard set. I had to sit down, do my homework, and et cetera, et cetera. And then after years of bringing home stellar grades, she just started monitoring the grade report. And then if there was something slipping here or there, it was sit down and work on your geometry, sit down. Then you kind of put the pedal to the metal. I hate to be so correcting it later, but I mean, it's for different kids though. If you got a student that's struggling the whole way around, maybe you got to be more, hands-on active. So what do you say to that kind of technique?
No, that's real, because each child is different. Each kid learns different. In fifth grade, my daughter, she was sitting at the dinner table, knocking it out.
Correct.
My son, that little dude, I mean, he's going, and by the way, she was going to bed at the age of 16, 17 at 10 o'clock. And if she could have been in bed at 8, she would have, but she just, it's too much work. 10 o'clock, she's programmed to shut it down. She's right now. I guarantee you, it's 10:30 there. She's trying to shut it down right now. And she's just programmed. My son, I hear him upstairs right now. He's, he's all over the place.
he's like, Dad ain't finished yet, so I got some more time.
And at 11 o'clock, he's trying to make his lunch for the next day. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? But so you have to treat each kid differently. You have to monitor that. The cool thing today, they've got apps that show every grade that in real time.
Yeah.
So there's really
some schools have cameras. You can monitor your child. You could do the pop-up. Hey, look, do the pop-up, parents. You ain't so busy. You could take extra time off to go get you some Starbucks or do whatever it is you want to do. Get you a new pair, Jordans or, whatever. You could every now and then do the pop-up. Talk to the school. I'm going to pop up on my son or daughter and see what's going on. That pop-up keep them on the toes, boy. You look up you on the schoolyard and you see your mom or dad over there looking at you. And your friends be like, dude, your mom, whoa, man, pop-up.
Yeah, I mean, but it's all about engagement. And I think if we were able to take the time with our kids,
yes, sir,
you can set them up for success. Unfortunately, there's no formula there's no magic potion.
You've got to care about education for them to care.
You got to care. They got to see you breathe. They got to see you be inquisitive. So you got to model.
I've heard so many successful
behavior. Model the behavior.
I've had a lot of successful people tell me, brother, that when they talk about dads who sat on this show, I'll ask them if their dad had passed or whatever. And they'll say, and just remember this because you're a dad. Well, my dad wasn't necessarily, really talkative. He wasn't necessarily, and different people, there's different people. But what they said is their dad led by that example. They said they saw their dad get up and go to work every day. They saw their dad do this and that. They saw their dad changing the oil. They saw their dad. So, you know what I mean? You lead from the front, not by your front.
I have a cousin who, he just became president of LSU, first
Big
Black
ups.
president
in
the history of the SEC.
Yeah. Come on, that's slave country.
Literally. And so I think about his dad, who's actually your frat. He's an alpha, but his dad was your frat. And his parents got divorced at a very early age. And so Bill had a very, very tough time. He and his brothers, very, very tough time. Lived in the projects, and at some point was homeless. And so he matriculated. I was with him this summer, and he talked about his dad and not necessarily having all of the lessons or the opportunities that I had.
Right.
You have to break the generational curse is a phrase that he used. And that's something that you have to make that personal decision to do. It's, certainly it's great to have a foundation, but if you don't have it, you have to find it within yourself to go beyond. And so that would be my message to young fathers who certainly find themselves in challenging situations in this challenging world. Go beyond. Be a producer. Be accountable.
It takes 3 jobs.
Whatever it takes. But you have to put yourself to be in that position to be a provider. If you're married, be a provider for your family. That doesn't mean your wife has a say at home.
It doesn't mean pushing dope either. Go ahead.
It means.
I mean, seriously, because
you gotta put the pedal to the metal, and she has to feel protected, and that you're gonna be there to provide and be that force in the family. But your children have to see that, and it's just it's a sacrifice, but that's called being on code. And that's what we have to exhibit.
And I'm going to add to that for the brothers who, because a lot of us are may not be in that position from time to time. Keep your head up. Always keep your head up. Be respectful. Because if you start vibrating anything but love, you're never going to change your situation. And don't allow that to push you away from your children. Don't allow anything or anyone to push you away from your children. Stay active, because again, there's going to be an exchange of information. So if you're dealing in truth and you're telling your son or daughter, hey, look, I've been out of work for 5 years, whatever it is, all a step of the way, but I'm training, to learn this. I'm doing this and doing that, and then you're in their life and there's a respect, and, so I would just throw that out there. Don't give up. All right. Because you don't have 3 jobs, don't give up. You start with the 1 job. One thing we've learned as Black people, if you show up and knock on the door early in the morning, he's into hiring. People will tend to want to hire you more, so you just have to work. Second thing, when you have a job, it's easier to get a job. So get your foot in the door. Start working. Don't let people tell you, work at Popeyes. But guess what? That's a work reference. They're going to call those people and they're going to say, yeah, he showed up every day, you know what I mean? And yes, he's eligible for rehire if we wanted to rehire him. And then another company would give you a job based on the strength of that. They're not going to be able to call O Block and talk to Smirkio on your behalf. All right. Just throwing out some little tips. We did. Go ahead, bro.
I'll build on that real quick. And I'll tell you a quick story of inspiration for those who, may look down on the Popeyes job.
Pick up some Popeyes.
I did 90% of my work in executive search was in retail. And I can't tell you, 30 years later, I was talking to presidents of these companies, presidents of divisions, CEOs. And in retail, where they started? They were cashier, they were stocking inventory. Wow. They have all the stories. Kroger,
Some of them started right out of high school, but go ahead.
Popeyes, the president of Popeyes, the president of Wendy's, they started as the person who was flipping burgers, or that person who was in the meat section. That's where it starts, and these people are making millions of dollars. Okay, so don't think that anything is too beneath you, or it could be just that's where your calling is right now, and use it as an opportunity to build upon for something else.
Let's get some wisdom too. Let's get some wisdom. Also, you'll be at that place not smelling like reefer, and I'm not against marijuana necessarily, right? But this guy can walk in, be impressed by your work. Maybe your manager, can go off and get a promotion, become a district person or whatever, or start his own business or what have you. You're building relationships with people, just like the way you build your reputation on the block. You can build your reputation within the world, and it's called working your way up and paying your dues, So instead of going in and out of the county and things like that, you'll be bumping your way up, getting a little bit more money each time you get another job, or you stay at one job. I had many friends who did that, bro. They came right out of high school, stayed on one job, just like what he's saying. Now they're, they don't have college degrees, but they stayed on that job. They kept a good reputation. They went and did what those people were asking them to do, and they got promoted. I'm not making this up.
It's true. Very true. Very true.
So I know we've been yapping, so let me get to where we need to be. And you guys like, share, and subscribe. We got something in the chat. Self, can you do that from Brother Menace, Cater Menace?
Cater Menace said, good vibing, brothers. We always just want to get in the room, which is good. But we have to have an unselfish pivot from there.
Yes. Unselfish, I think, will be the key to that too. Yeah. But that selfishness is somewhere gets ingrained in us at some point, which is a part of human development, but you're supposed to, get out of that, at some stage of adolescence. You know what I mean? The me.
Selfishness is triggered by fear, right? And so when you haven't had something before, your first taste, you're like, oh my God, I don't want to ever lose this. And I don't want anything to jeopardize it. So we have to, there's psychology that's involved with this as well. That's why that messaging is so important.
Yes.
Bro, those words you just spoke are truer than, man, oh my goodness, it's truer than, oh my goodness, man, true words, bro. Man, true words. Self-love and I, we don't do fear around here. We don't care about that. So, all right. So, along those lines, what would you like teachers to know? An incoming teacher, anyone aspiring teacher, to know about, educating specifically foundational Black children. And then can you kind of explain to us what is it, the job of the school board? Like, what is it the school board's doing, with their mandates and everything?
Yeah. So teachers, that profession, no one chooses that to be rich. No one chooses that to do anything except for to be a servant, right? So usually you don't have to teach, especially young teachers, a lot of the soft skills that you think you might have to in terms of caring for, picking up the cultural nuances. That is something that you can get professional development for. But I would encourage more Black teachers to go into education, or Black students to study to become teachers, because that is a field that there's a void. There's a shortage of teachers, not just black people.
You will have a job. That's one thing about a teacher. Yes, it's like
you
a
will
nurse.
definitely have you'll definitely have a job.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get rich, but that's not always the teacher. Being a teacher is not always the end road. You can go in administration. That's correct. A popular path, and so that's an opportunity. I think our superintendent, he makes $300,000+ a year.
Because you get 3 months off every year typically, and you could be studying for your next degree or whatever.
Yeah, so there's a lot of benefits. Right?
Yeah.
My parents, I told you, my dad, he owned a 15 flat. Well, I mean, he did both.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I would say. And I'd really, in terms of teaching young Black boys or young Black girls, what I have seen.
We're talking about the ratchet ones. We're not talking about, those of us who, had a Cosby type of thing.
No. So I've seen, that's what I'm saying. What I've seen is, out at least where I'm at, we got some really good teachers, and when I hear about the city, got some really good teachers. Not everybody, there are a lot of, everybody's not great. Right?
Any profession. Yes. You're going to have just people, why are you here? Right.
Yeah, right. But I
right. I'm just here for the check. Go ahead, bro.
But I think also you have to have, and this is where, people like me come into play. I get more concerned about people who are on boards or administration. And if they don't have the vision or the focus to build a school environment where kids can thrive, right? And it becomes just kind of routine for them. The administrators at HF will tell you, and especially with this board that's been elected, we're pushing the envelope. We got our school rankings the other day, and they stayed flat from 2019 to 2021. And that's expected. We had COVID, but I fired off an email to our administrators today, like, okay, we're gonna dissect these rankings. We're gonna figure out the categories, how we can elevate our status as a school. So, you want people who are gonna push the envelope.
Did you use any Chucky Gruden superlatives while you did it? And did you wield your high yellow privilege?
Stay away from the Chucky Gruden emails.
You know damn well, not only would they have walked you out of there, no matter your reputation.
It'd be all over the news if I did.
All over, immediately walked you out. Probably would have caught a case,
no. We're not afforded those mistakes, especially emails that go and sit for 10 years. But it's a whole nother thing.
So I hear you. I think you're saying, you're more concerned with these administrators who their number one priority isn't creating a safe environment that fosters mental growth,
right?
Intellectual growth.
Right. That's the one thing as a board member. If you're a good board member,
you don't want to hear board members saying "screw these kids." But go ahead, bro. Right.
No, you shouldn't. So that, and by the way, you got people out there like that. So it's I don't know. I shake my head, but that's the antithesis of what you want.
I know it happens, man. Like Self Love and I, we did a lot in basketball, coaching and stuff, bro. And we come across coaches who, forget these kids. They can't learn nothing. They don't want to do nothing. It's like, why are you here? You're the coach. You're supposed to turn that into action. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of coach can't make a kid run? You know what I'm saying? So,
well, and that's what you want to, for me, I'm all about setting policy. So I'm not in the school doing the discipline. I'm not in the school, making sure the teacher is showing up on time and is on their lesson plan. I'm looking at data. I'm looking at the end results and determining how we can create that game plan. So I'm kind of more like a general manager or an owner who is saying, okay, strategically, we won the conference. How do we win a playoff series, right? How do we get to the Super Bowl?
So you like the admiral?
Yeah, that's what we're doing, and so that's what makes it enjoyable for me. And I'll do it as long as it doesn't pay a dime. I don't get a dime at all. It's a lot of work, but
wait a minute. Is this slavery? Wait, go back to the part about it doesn't pay a dime.
So it's interesting. School board positions, they're elected positions.
Okay.
But in the state of Illinois, you don't get paid to do that. I think it's probably one of the only offices that does not get paid. You don't, I think library, you don't get paid, park district, you don't get paid, and then school boards, you don't get paid. So if you're like a village trustee or a mayor or something like that on the municipal side, you're going to get paid. But
but that sets up a scenario where only people who are affluent or who can at least afford the extra time and afford to do all the work without any money whatsoever are going to be admirals, are going to be leading the ship, so to speak.
In some cases, the people who have extra time, that's true. But it also means usually that you're going to get people who are there purely to make things better.
And not for the money. Okay.
Yeah, conceptually.
Okay.
That is how it's supposed to work.
I got what you're saying. I got what you're saying. I got what you're trying to say. Okay. Yeah. There's always two sides to a coin, and it's good that we're having these discussions because, you know what I mean? On the one hand, you could look at it like, I think that's how it keeps a lot of us out of doing certain things, bro, because there's no bag associated with it,
right.
Like even coaching, doing the coaching work, there's usually no money associated with it.
Yeah. And I think if you think about your fraternity, right? Who is the grand pole mark, right? That person's probably fairly affluent. They're probably retired.
Yeah.
They're, I'm thinking about the profile. They probably were a lawyer or something like that. And but then think about why are they doing it? That's not a job that pays. Yeah, Kappa Alpha Psi may fly you around the country and you can go to parties and stuff like that, but there's work involved in it. And so the service aspect of it has to be the draw. And it's also elected. So you have to pass the public test and at least be able to get in front of the public and say, here's my vision, here's what I want to do. And then they got to believe you. When I won my election in 2019, I won by 4 votes.
Wow.
So as at the end of election night, I was up by 4 votes. And I think as mail-in ballots came, it increased to 8 votes.
Wow.
I mean, it was very, very tight between me and the next person. So, I spent a lot of time and effort.
Yeah, I mean, and big ups. I mean, I'm not questioning you. I mean, I appreciate that, man. What you're doing, and I would pray that that's the case with most people in Illinois, that they generally want to see change for the better. In your position.
Yep. Yeah. That's at least that's been my experience. I don't really interact with a lot of other board members at different school districts. I know a few. I have fraternity brothers who are on the board. I don't know if you remember, he's a little older than us, Gerald Pauling. He was a Sigma from Illinois. He's on the board with me at HF. but he, these are people who we always say we could be any place else. But we're there for, the tough times, which are expulsion hearings. We're there for the graduations. We're there for the plays, the football games. So there's a lot that goes into it. I can't.
So it's a labor of love. It's almost like why I would coach, right, for free, because I love it.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's hard for me. I'm look, Tony, I'm about as cynical as it gets, right? But it's hard for me to think that there are people that are serving in these types of roles that are doing it for anything besides altruistic reasons. Now, that being said, I actually served with a couple of people who I felt like they were there for more sinister reasons and an agenda.
God made all types, but go
That's right. So yeah, but it's in general, the rule should be people are doing it for altruistic reasons.
Right. I got you. Well, so then along these lines, that brought me to my next question as we're wrapping up. Should brothers, should black men, bother to aggressively pursue more of these types of board seats? And I wrote that question not knowing that there's no bag behind it. So talk to us on that.
Yeah, I think it's important, especially where you see people that look like us, that are trying to go through first grade and go through high school, and where you want to be a difference maker in terms of policy. You can't at some point, again, and I'll say it again, reparations are due. But at some point you have to sit back and say, you know what? We're going to take control of this narrative. We're going to take control of this entity. We're going to take control of our community and build, right? You can't sit back because if you do, you're going to get what you deserve. So the answer is yes. Everything is not for pay. Everything is not going to be because there's a direct benefit. It's really about making sure that you have a situation that you're able to put in, and the community is able to get something out of it.
All right, yeah, that's a great answer, bro. You told me how to become a member. So I when I was researching you, you were talking about how you were like literally going door to door.
Yeah.
Talking to families, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have a district that covers, I want to say 6 different communities. And so I was covering probably about a couple square miles of territory by foot. Walking in the snow, but talking and touching people. And I've done that actually for the last 3 elections. I only ran in one, but I've gone and helped other people run for office. So
that's what's up.
Yeah. So I've tried to practice what I preach, and just really kind of lean in. I think that's what we have to do. That's part of that formula, in addition to the communications and controlling it. But you got to lean in and do the hard work.
Man, speaking of hard work, unpack your summer camp. I know you talked about it a bit earlier. If you can kind of give a parent out there who's going to hear this, and parents, I mean, you can send your child to something positive. My mom, boy, I used to be at basketball camp. I used to be like thinking, man, my mom's going to tell me no. And man, she was always yes to camp, because parents, you can have your child in a positive experience, learning different things, and you can have time to yourself. But I'm going to let you unpack the summer camp.
Yeah, so the summer camp is certainly grown since 2009. It's got many different legs and tentacles that can offer kids from any background, a wonderful experience. We have the day camp, which is based at HF and has been there since 2014. STEM is the academic base, but we also offer all sorts of different things in addition to STEM. Culinary
what does STEM
arts.
stand for?
STEM stands for, well, there's STEM and STEAM. So STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And if you want to make it STEAM, you throw arts in there.
I love that. Yeah, I love STEAM.
It's a concentration. That term was built because we wanted to have people who had a concentration professionally in those areas, right? Those were the areas where a lot of the jobs were going to become available.
Smart, brilliant.
Engineers. So we teach a very, very STEM-based curriculum where kids are actually building robots, learning about hybrid technology, and really expanding their exposure academically. For the babies, we're giving them those foundational skills. They're reading every day in their reading circles. We have what's called Wakanda Council, which are peace circles, and kids get to talk in groups, small groups, about different issues that are impacting their world. We obviously have the sports side that runs from tennis and basketball to taekwondo, golf, volleyball, you name it. We take kids on field trips. We have a overnight camp that we have at Purdue University. We take kids, prior to COVID, we were taking kids to Canada. And we would visit Montreal with our 8th graders, Montreal, Toronto, Niagara Falls. So there's a myriad of things that you can get at Whiz Kids. There's a flavor for everyone, for every age. And it's,
What's the demographic look like?
The demographic
racial breakdown.
Is highly African American. Yeah, it's highly African American. It's probably 90 plus African American, easily. So, you're talking about kids that an environment of what I would say that is trying to create Black excellence, right? And emulate Black excellence, and certainly the other kids that come to Whiz Kids, they are getting excellence, right? They're getting the message of excellence. But, the staff is largely African American. So you have models, right, of excellence there. The kids that are part of the staff, we have what the professional level staff, of course, who are the coaches and the teachers. But then we also have the junior level staff. Those are college-age kids that are going to HBCUs. We've had law school students. We've had medical students. So you're getting all sorts of. You're just getting a great mix of kids who are able to do a lot of things that and get exposure.
Right. So I'm a parent, and I've heard enough. And then, so what would be the process like? So, are they dropping the child off at the camp? Are they dropping them off to get on a bus, and then y'all sing camp songs? You know what I mean? So how, and then is there a waiting list, and when does camp start? How many sessions? Things like that.
Yeah, so we'll open registration for returning parents in November. We'll open up registration for the general public in January. Camp starts always in June. Our programming goes from June through August. If it's the day camp, we're going to take care of your kid from 8:30 to 5 o'clock. If it's the overnight camp, drop them off at Purdue on Sunday, pick them up on Friday. It just depends on what program you select. And what you should know is when they get there, we're going to treat them as you treat them, right? They're our little kings and our little queens.
Facts.
And that's been our track record. That's the care that I demand So I'm a hover boy.
All right. When I went to camp, this was big. How was the food, bro? How's the food? You know what I mean?
So at Purdue, the food is okay. It's dorm food.
Yeah.
We had
dorm food. Yeah. Hey, yeah. Dorm food's good. Kids, don't let him. He's a Cosby kid. Listen, dorm food at a school like Purdue. Boy, stuff I was down there. Boy, people, what y'all complaining about? What are y'all complaining? The breakfast not so much, but go ahead, bro.
Breakfast not so much because the eggs are the eggs, but but at camp, at day camp, we have a culinary program. So our chef, if you're in the lunch program, our chef prepares the lunches from scratch every day. So
see, he's talking culinary and chef. All right. Yes. So your children are going to be eating. They're not going to be eating county food.
No, they're not going to have the salami sandwich. They're
not going to be McDonald's either.
It's not going to be McDonald's. They're going to get a nice balanced meal.
Yeah, you can take them to McDonald's when you pick them up.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If that's what you want to do, because they're your children.
Yes.
So yeah, man. You guys, man, I really think invest in your children. I'm sure we're all doing that. I talk tongue in cheek a whole lot. But we can really think deep about a child that may not have the mentors and the resources, and maybe you can collude and do a GoFundMe, go on his site, find out how much the bill is, and collude, do a GoFundMe and fund some of these children to this program, because you can spark a light, into the mind of a child. I could think along my ways, different people who sparked a light, in your mind, and you may have been doing just jackass stuff in the street, and somebody just, tells you can go in a different direction. And it's just very important. And camp was instrumental, very instrumental. You learn a lot about camp, a lot at camp. More importantly, you learn how to learn and how to think at camp, and you're going to get exposed to things that you're not getting exposed, in the city.
Well, the biggest value at camp with our camp is we erase the brain drain. And there's a term called summer brain drain. And it is basically simple. You're not learning anything normally during the summer unless you're in a very structured environment. Well, because we have the academic component, we're giving that structured environment. So your kid is not only going to get treated like a king or queen, but we're going to make sure that what's going through here, through their brain waves.
So if I would have loved that, man. If they'd have got me there and there was some competitive basketball going on, and then there was some competitive thinking. Go ahead, though. So for chess competitions,
I went through that at the program at the University of Chicago.
Yep.
Richard Green was the basketball component. So yeah. And
but I think they go away, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Is your camp, is it day camp or is it overnight?
Both. It's both. It's
both. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But that whole concept, it was both of it. For me, it was because I went to those little schools, so I didn't have the same competition in hoop or whatever. So that was brought to these programs and all
expose
that.
You to different people to compete against.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the same teachers I had in some of these little schools were the same people that was teaching at these programs too. So it was exposing me all over the place.
Where did they discover you were dyslexic at, Self? Was it at your school or at the camp? Do you remember?
It was when they first said we needed to be writing.
So your school?
Yeah, it was a school. It was
I'm surprised your mom. I'm surprised your mom didn't catch that, bro. With her being an educator, because I know she was working with you, early on.
I told you I was on my own a whole lot early on because I was just mimicking what I thought I was seeing. So I had started writing in complete mirror image. She would have caught that. You know what I mean? But she didn't even know until she really looked at my scribblings or whatever.
Right, because you were young.
Yeah, my brother's 7 years older than me, and everybody else is writing, so I'm just doing what I do. You know, what I mean? So, and when they looked at it after, she was like, "Oh."
Some people call them scribbling. I think the feds may call them rantings of a lunatic, a psychotic 3 club. All right. So y'all, man, sign up for the camp.
Yes.
I want to hit you with these esoteric quick hits, bro.
All right.
So these are yes/no questions. Is there a God?
Yes.
Are we alone?
What do you mean?
Are we the only conscious Earth? All the life on Earth.
No.
Is it alone?
No.
Okay. Have you seen an unidentified flying object?
Never.
Did human ever walk on the moon at any time, and specifically during the world-renowned Apollo program?
Was that a movie set?
Yes or no? Or you could pass. I forgot. There's an option.
Did
man walk on the moon during the Apollo program?
The moon movie set, yes.
Choose one.
No.
Nathan, are you?
I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah,
all
go
right.
on.
All right, so you're going to say
your question, no, but yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right, next question. Choose one. Would Nathan Legardy, if you had a gun to your head and you had to choose, would you? A gun to one of your children's head, God forbid, and you had to choose. Would Nathan Legardy prefer to be at war with himself and at peace with the world, or at peace with the earth, but at war internally?
Wow. I would choose, because I'm a peaceful guy, the latter. I would choose the latter. I would be at war internally and try to work it out. And peace.
So you prefer to be at war with self and peace with world?
Yes.
Okay. I got you. That is an interesting question, bro. And I haven't even thought to how I would answer that. You're the first person we asked that one to. Now, here's a regular one, though. Now I know you mentioned your children, and we're not going to ask you unless you want to. This thing will go viral. If you want to say which one is your favorite child, I don't have any kids, so I say things like this. If you want to say that right here on live, we can get some. We'll go viral. But if you could save the human or humans, okay, but let's just say, God forbid, that you could not live without from passing away by providing a donor heart. Now, doctors, my ship, Kier, he can do the work, you know what I mean? We can get Dr. West involved. But if we can get the heart obtained on the black market, meaning you're an educator, some innocent, it's going to be a melanated child in the third world somewhere, had to sacrifice. This kid didn't sacrifice. His family didn't sell him, wasn't giving money. This kid was walking down the street chasing butterflies, you know what I mean? And then kidnapped. Nobody ever saw him again. They carved his heart out, and then boom, it's right there. It's on the table. You got my ship, Kier. He can put it in for a little under the table cash. Pick up Kier, yo ship. So now, if you could do that, would you do it?
Are you saying be a donor and I'm happy to die, and that's what happens?
No, I'm saying you're going to purchase a organ from the black market, an innocent child, black child on the other side of the world, in the third world somewhere, is going to be sacrificed to save whoever it is you're saving. It's not for you. It's for the person.
Under no circumstances.
Interesting. No. See, that question, bro, we get, it's 50-50. I've asked people, and it's 50-50. I'm with you on that. I'm with you. And what I say is, because I know the shaitan, the genie, and I be telling people, so you save that person, what happens? They get hit by a car. Now look at you. You know what I mean? It's going to be a life for a life. I mean, that's how I feel, man. And And you're perpetuating the black market indirectly.
That's right. Yeah, no, there's no way. I call myself pretty straight laced, and so that would not be in my MO. I love that whoever I would be doing it for, but we'd have to figure out another way.
I got tough love too. So I'd be sitting there, you have to take your medicine like everybody else.
That's right.
We was all born down. We was all born down. You take your medicine. I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? I gotta live with this. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm yapping. I'm yapping, and that's my tough love. But what if that person's like, please, please? That's another element to the question. We never asked nobody, so I'm just throwing that out there. Look at self. I'm gonna tweak that question. All right, but you don't have to answer that because it's unfair to you. All right.
No, I think you have to be uncompromising in your spirit, and I don't compromise that. So you could ask me any derivative, it's gonna come out the same. I'm uncompromising. You can call it stubborn. I call it uncompromising. That's who I am.
Go with the ancestors, and when you get up there with Yah, tell Yah, I said, what down. All right, and we're gonna celebrate, and all right, but all right, here we go. All right, but there is no wrong answer to me. I will say that there is no wrong answer to that because we're all humans, and we don't debate on this show, and we don't judge. We leave our gavels at home. All right, so here we go. If the meaning of life, we save the easiest question for last. What's the meaning of life?
Meaning of life. That's a really tough question. But I think the meaning of life is.
Let me say this. Your answer to that is as gerund to the conversation as anyone else that's ever walked this planet. And that's why we asked the question.
Yeah, I just think it's about production. Life is about production. And if you really think deeply about what it means to produce, it's an ongoing process, right? We're constantly producing oxygen, but we're also producing carbon, right? Monoxide. We're producing life, or else we would become extinct. So it's about production, and everything that you do between the date you're here, in that dash, they call it, and the date that you leave here, you should be trying to produce, which is why I don't believe I will ever retire, quote unquote. I love playing golf. That's my advice. But I think I'll work until
cat in for the white boys. But go ahead. We're talking about the meaning of life.
I think I'll work until the day I leave here, whether it's giving service or running a business, because I think you have to. The day you stop producing is the day your days are really numbered. So it's about production. I think that's, in a succinct way, I think it's producing and being purposeful and being kind while you're here.
Wow. Fair enough. I'm not going to say you're wrong, because who am I to say you're wrong? We got one of our wrenches in the chat, my boy Tony D. We used to work together. He said I could not be a teacher. I would lose my job dealing with the disrespectful youth and their dumb A parents. Now, see, I'm going to text you his name so you can put him on a do not hire list. Because at least he knows it, though. You know what I mean?
But what did I say earlier? You don't go into this. You're doing it for altruistic purposes. You're not doing it for the money. You know what you're getting into. So I laugh at Tony D, but I hear that all the time. We had a lot of parents. If you paid attention to social media, parents last year, they were like, I thank God for these teachers. I know what y'all going through.
Yeah.
There was a lot of respect for teachers last year. So
people were going back to work. Men were hugging their bosses at work, their employees.
Yeah.
Like, man, you got me away from my wife. She was driving me, crazy. Just,
So I get it. It's not for everybody. There's a special place wherever in the Most High for teachers. So
facts.
Hey, we're gonna do a quick. We play a quick game here. It's a 9 at 9. But before we do that, we've covered a lot of topics. Anything that we've covered, whether it's about your program or anything we talked about or didn't talk about, now would be the time. Have at it.
No, I think we covered a lot. I appreciate you guys, and I've always had great admiration for both of you, great respect for both of you, and just it's kind of fortuitous that Tony and I ran into each other a couple of weeks ago. So I'm thankful for that. I just want to give you all encouragement, right, and uplift. As you all continue on this important journey and mission, and anything I can do to be a resource or of assistance, I'm gonna push you all out there. I know you all have had a lot of my fraternity brothers on here, and a lot of obviously your frat. So keep doing it. But I'm serious when I say it's important. We have to be on code in all things, and that means supporting each other. So whatever I can do to assist. Let me know.
And I appreciate that, bro. And yeah, and this code in my mind as well, it starts with stop airing our dirty laundry in the public. If we want to sit down and talk solutions, we could sit down as men and we could talk solutions. I think everybody about now knows what the issues are and the problems. We should be talking solutions. So, but we wrap it up on a high note, man. So this game is called the 9 at 9. That name used to mean something. Now it's just an ego trip, But how it works is this. I know you know the story of Noah's Ark. He allegedly, got on the boat. And I'm saying allegedly, I'm a man of faith, but, I'm just going to tell the story. And, there was a flood, but he got, pair of each creature so that life could continue. So what I'm saying that is that we're going to give you a pair of items. This is like a verbal ink blotch test, if you will. So what we're going to need you to do is you get 2 passes to be considered a win. If you don't pass, if you have to pass more than twice, you lost. However, feel free to pass up to 2 times. We're going to give you a pair of 2 things, like I might say, for instance, banana or apple. And, if the apple means more to you, apple, right? Or you could say pass. You understand the game?
Understood.
All right, now we have to get through, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have to get through 12 of these. Well, the idea is for you to get 9 points. Each one is 1 point. So if you're passing, and if you get all 12 of them, then, you get extra credit. And I'm sure you Beasley Bees like extra credit. Well, most of y'all were lazy. Y'all didn't go to Ray. We used to read, man. Y'all act like y'all didn't read, man. Ray have us. Bro, I remember, man, when I realized, I used to think I was, smart, because you're comparing yourself to your family and your cousins. Man, we had to read the first time in public in school, and those kids were reading so eloquently. I mean, I didn't sound like Pookie, but they were reading like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And bro, and that's what I said, I can't be sounding like this. You know what I'm saying? I can't be sounding like this. So yes, make your kids read, parents. Make your kids read at the dinner table. Listen to what they sound like. Ask them what they just read, but I feel like I'm digressing. You got anything to say to that before we start the game?
You're on point. You are on point.
All right. I'm not a parent, though, but it takes a tribe. All right, so here we go, Self. You're the timekeeper. Remember, you get 2 passes without penalty. We're going to start 60 seconds. Derek Chauvin or George Zimmerman?
George Zimmerman.
Colin Kaepernick, Michael Jordan.
Colin Kaepernick.
Marcus Garvey, W.E.B. I said Du Bois.
Marcus Garvey.
Frankie Knuckles or Ron Hardy?
Frankie Knuckles.
Prince or Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson.
Nas Illmatic, Kanye West, College Dropout?
Nas.
Barack Obama or the late, great Harold Washington?
Harold Washington.
Speaking of Harold's Chicken or Uncle Remus?
Harold's on 53rd.
Christopher Columbus or George Washington?
George Washington.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. or Malcolm X?
Malcolm X.
Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor?
Pass.
Samsung Galaxy or iPhone?
Pass.
Wow. I mean, you answered all those other questions and then pass at the end. That's crazy.
I want to see where I'm at.
You see why they start losing at Beasley? We're not going to take the rest of the test. We've proven everything. No, you didn't. You ain't proved nothing. Hey, but good job, bro. I mean, good job, man. You got all of them. You got 9. You definitely got 9, but I mean, you walked away from 2.
Yeah.
What was it about? I mean, he passed Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor. We had Eddie Murphy's brother on the show, didn't we?
Is that right?
Yeah, he sat right where you sat. Yeah. Vernon Lynch.
Yeah.
And his son is a professional fighter, and he's a producer out here in L.A. Yeah. His wife knows my wife, and, that's how we linked all that up. Yeah, he's a good dude. And then,
great.
Yeah, so he passed on that. What would you say, Self? Eddie Murphy or Richard Pryor, bro?
Wow.
I know, under the gun, that is a tough question.
I completely respected the pass on that one.
I've never asked myself some of these questions.
Yeah, I completely respected the pass on that one. I was like, oh,
all right, but the Samsung Galaxy and the iPhone, what's that about? You're not getting paid to promote them, or what's going on? Or you got a flip phone from? What do you got? A PCS Prime code?
BlackBerry. No, I hate both.
I got a Prime code phone.
He hate both of them.
I hate both of them. I'm trying to get rid of this one. So
that's fair. That's fair. I mean, those are your answers. All right. Somebody's going to let the dogs.
As well.
It's respectable. But somebody let the dogs in. We gotta have somebody let the dogs out. Now we don't kick anybody out, bro. So
can I ask a question real quick? Real quick?
Yeah.
So George Zimmerman or Derek Chauvin?
Oh my God.
Or I'm sorry, I mean, so what is that question? Do I give it away if I ask you which
No. It's an interesting question. I would have picked what you picked, George Zimmerman, because Chauvin, he took an oath. He's a trusted official. Right. You know what I mean? He had a badge, and we don't expect him to carry on and behave like that. Now, George Zimmerman, you know what I mean? I mean, we're not saying big ups to George Zimmerman. You giving him a small up, Self, George Zimmerman? Big ups to Trayvon Martin.
You know me, man.
Right.
No ups.
That's what I thought about.
Yeah. I thought you would have passed. I thought you would have passed on a question like that. But
that's what I figured it was about.
It's fair. Now,
and George Washington and Christopher Columbus.
That's a tough one. A lot of people pass on that one. Colin Kaepernick, Michael Jordan, you being from Chicago, saying Colin, he's our frat. He's a noob too. So and then Michael Jordan's your frat. So it's just, you know what I mean? It's interesting, man.
I'm B1.
Marcus Garvey, W.E.B. Du Bois. What's that, bro?
I'm B1. So just
I hear you. I
know how to answer that question. That was not even
So Marcus Garvey, W.E.B. Du Bois. What was your?
Well, Marcus Garvey is all about Pan-Africanism and being Black first, and Black empowerment. W.E.B. Du Bois, he was certainly an intellectual, one of the greatest scholars in Black history. However, he was more of an elitist, and he was also a tool for eugenicists. So,
some people thought he was working with the spooks.
probably was. So it, I think
definitely spook, definitely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
allegedly.
That was pretty easy.
Allegedly.
Yeah. All right, but then Frankie Knuckles, Ron Hardy, that one stumped you for a minute. I mean, that stumped.
Well, I mean, Ron Hardy.
12 seconds to answer that one.
Yeah, he's a legend, but certainly Frankie Knuckles. I mean, he's the legend of all legends. So.
And I guess you had to be more, gentle with that, with your promotions and you were playing this music, you know what I'm saying? All right, Prince, Michael Jackson, all right, that's okay. And you picked Illmatic. I would go with that. College Dropout was dope, but I would definitely go with Illmatic. Barack Obama, Harold Washington. Who'd you go with?
Harold.
Who would you go with, Self?
Harold Washington.
Yeah, I would too, without a doubt. Harold's chicken, Uncle Remus. You're a South Sider, so I mean, yeah. MLK, Malcolm X. Who did you say?
I said Malcolm. Yeah,
interesting.
I said Malcolm because I think Malcolm was uncompromising, and I think in this world, for us to go forward, we're going to have to be focused and uncompromising.
Yeah, man. Malcolm used to be like, stop smiling, man. I mean, tell them how you feel, right? And don't be out here, putting hands on people and breaking the law. But if somebody touches you, boy, I was reading this stuff Self at 14. But if somebody touch you, you try to do everything you can to put that person in the casket, man. Yes.
He was unapologetic and he was uncompromising. And I think that fits my characteristic. I mean, I'm a straight shooter. As I say, I'm kind, but I am who I am.
Yeah, and it doesn't surprise me that the Q would pick Malcolm anyway. You know what I'm saying? They was always down. They was always, you know what I mean? Like on the edge. I'm like, what are the Q's up to? They gonna start a revolution or some shit? The fatigues and the boots on and shit.
Ready for war. Ready for war.
Yeah. Like what are they on? You know what I'm saying? Just call me. You know what I'm saying? Give me a call. Hey, but yeah, man, if you got any big ups, any shout outs you want to give?
Now, big ups, of course, to our Illini Nation. Big ups to Phil and Nate Nation. Big ups to all the Whiz Kids, moms and dads out there, and be one.
Man, fair enough. Yeah, and we definitely be one around here. Self Love and I would definitely be one. So, man, we don't kick any silverbacks out, brother Nate, man, and we appreciate you doing this. What say ye, Self Love?
And thank you so much. It's been an expansive conversation. Gratitude. Love, honor, and respect.
Fam, I appreciate you all, and I hope I gave you all a good show tonight. And as I said, anytime you all need anything from me, you got my number. Hit me up, and I'm always here to support you guys.
Hey, we appreciate it, brother, and likewise, man. This platform's your platform, is our platform, from Inglewood, California to
South Shore, Chicago.
Man, so once we get 1 million followers, bro, you want to come talk about your your program, man, we here. This won't change, right, Self?
Yeah, facts. That's open door.
Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen.
It's already done, brother. So
peace and love to you all.
Appreciate you. One love, brother.
All right.
Yeah, I got to get Marlon's new phone number there, fella, man. They called me like, man, what's Marlon's number? I'm like, what do you mean, what's Marlon's? Because I texted Marlon yesterday. Right. We'll talk about it. Yeah, didn't get a response, and I texted him again today, and I'm like, what's going on? That's not like Marlon.
Right.
Yeah. So I picked up the phone and called it. Doo-doo-doo. So maybe he couldn't afford to pay the bill. Maybe he couldn't afford it.
You see me, I might be like stuck or something. You think I'm stuck, but I'm not stuck.
Yeah, when you was froze the first time, I was like, is he froze? This time, man. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. I was froze. I was like, oh man, I got booted again. Because y'all froze up on my screen, and then I look on, I got the other screen going, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're right there, fine on their screen. So,
well, Booger pulls it when we have a guest in the house. So, magnanimous though. So you guys, Whiz Kids camps. We did pin the link at the top of this chat. It'll also be in the comments. If you want to leave comments, please like, share, subscribe. Man, magnanimous, huh?
Yes, man. I knew it was gonna be an outstanding expansion.
Facts. Black Ed is always an expansion, especially coming from these black men.
Man, it's one of the largest expansions of our whole series.
And you know what's up? Yeah, I talk flip a lot about our chat rats and everything, but it's all tongue in cheek because a lot of cats might not know how I get down. Remember that stuff? I can only hoop with certain people who knew how I got down, else you'd be ready to shoot me in the face at the end of a basketball game.
Yeah, they weren't gonna.
But no, they weren't gonna do that. I mean, I'm blessed, and I wasn't. Yeah. There's no need to shoot me. Yeah, Phil. You can have the ball. You want the ball? What else do you want? All right, but my point is this, man. We need you guys. Self love. We like to say this is going to happen with or without you, and it's true on the one hand, right, Self?
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we need you.
We absolutely need you.
Yeah. All hands on deck. You know what I mean? Our thing is at the end of the day, what have we done? To better the plight of the foundational Black Americans when they lay you down and throw dirt on your wet casket, and when they ask your kids, what did your dad do or what did your mom do? When all this was going on.
Look at the record.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. You gotta do something. You know what I mean? So here we are. And there's a lot. This is a movement. So subscribe. Normally we break that down. Probably need to break that down where we're getting more subscriptions when we used to break that down all the time. So next week we'll start breaking down, our subscriber tiers. But just know that once we hit 9,999 subscribers, it's proprietary. Self Love and I, we're going to spark the evolution. Yeah.
Yes. It's going to be a change, and it's going to ease.
The evolution will not be what? It'll be on YouTube. Yeah, it'll be on TATN.
It'll be elevated though, because that's what it is.
Yeah, but it will be on TATN, right, so?
Yeah. TATN.
So we're doing a lot of stuff. We're going to be going to Africa, jumping out of airplanes, all type of stuff, depending on how many subscribers we get. Join us next week, right here at the same time, same place, and we'll break those tiers down for you guys. And we already got the solution to the riddle. The riddle was, let's see, where's the riddle here? A plane crash, Self Love, between the border of Silverdale and Chicago. Where were the survivors buried, and what say ye, Self?
Well, you know how it goes. You don't bury the survivors. I mean, unless you're pink people. You don't bury survivors.
That's a good point. What was his answer? Read. Read.
You talking about I'm the overseer?
Self Love Nation of the Year.
That's exactly what that was.
Read what he said. I want to see what he said.
Hold on, I gotta.
This guy. Let me see. What this guy said. I'm the overseer said.
You don't bury survivors.
All right.
That's what he said.
So he was all right, touche. I have to say twice. Yeah, so the key is nowhere survivors don't need to be buried. Yeah. You guys got that one. And Omni Overseer is becoming quite the Riddler now, Self.
Yeah. Well, this one we did before. We did establish that before it too. So.
Stand him in the head of the riddle line and let him answer all the riddles and put the pressure on him. Yeah. Stand him right at the head of the riddle line. All right, let's see it. Yeah. Put a number 3 on his back.
Okay, so
all right, where are we here? All right, so all right, so I think that pretty much wraps it up. You guys, for tonight's show. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe. Tomorrow, we're doing right here, it's going to be Mouthpiece Included. We do a show at 9 p.m. We're going to unpack Chucky Gruden. What's in his heart? Nobody knows what's in this man's heart. I don't know what's in his heart. So we're going to unpack that. It's a silverback show. Everybody's welcome to click the link. You could pull up, you could slide through. And we're going to talk about what's in, Chucky Gruden's heart, right? Self Love.
Right.
Yeah. Mouthpiece Included.
Great, man. Mouthpiece Included is off the chain. Y'all need to get in there.
We talk politics. We fuse politics with sports. And so we're going to talk about what's in, I'm going to play the role of the coon. The regular co-host is going to play the role of the black man from the South Side. And I don't know, you laughing. You don't know what's in his heart. You don't know what's in the Grand Wizard of the KKK's heart. You don't know what's in the Grand Wizard of the KKK's heart.
I don't care to know either. So that's the whole different.
Boy, that little talking point, boy. They started that about 12 years ago, boy. You don't know what's in his heart. I know what he's spewing out his mouth. But yeah, I'm going to play the coon tomorrow, you guys. I don't know if we can say coon on this.
I'm not sure after last week.
Man.
So, hey, y'all cut it out because y'all are full of it.
Y'all are really full of it, YouTube. And then next week on the Self Love Show, Self Love and I, we're going to continue our series on dead rappers. We have a theory that they're not necessarily just dying of street violence. There may be some A&Rs or some managers or some management or some big record companies involved. All the lines are fused, gray area lines. These rappers are dying, and then people are making a whole lot of what?
Money.
That's right. So I believe we covered Pac already, rest his soul, Big L. We've covered different ones, so we'll announce, we'll put up a video and let you guys know which rest his soul dead rapper that we're going to cover. And so we bring this to my personal favorite part of the whole shebang, and that's going to be this brother Tory Wordsmith's final words out there.
Man, it's my final words. It takes education to raise a nation and to recognize exploitation. We got the seed in us, the egregiousness that perceive what they feed in us. Because they feed in this trash, unsustainable, fast situations that won't last. That's why we need to go back to foundational. Raise a whole nation's vibrational. No hesitational. Decisive. blaze a whole new trail. And it ain't new. It's something that we used to do way back where they didn't even know about it. Where the evidence is monuments. I don't know how you solve it. Who was here that could have created it? That was education. You make creative thinkers that can solve problems. Not from here or any conception. That's education. Words.
Man, that was dope. Small ups to TATN. Everybody plays the coon sometimes.
Big up to TATN.
It may be factual, it may be true. Listen, baby. Every black man should get this once in their life, huh? You do something coony, you know what I mean? I'm not talking about snitching, I'm talking to the police. You know what I'm saying? But you, everybody plays the coon sometime. We got to record that. All right, you guys, yeah, we got to record that stuff.
We can make it happen.
Yeah, we got to get over there in DNA's lab and make that happen. I'll sing the hook too. I already got the video. We have some Booger McFarlane. We'll have some Charles Barkley. You know what I mean? We have some historical coonery. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what we'll have. So you guys, thanks for joining. As we close out always, as I'm trying to figure out. 1 second here, everybody. Like, share, subscribe. What's that all about? I mean, I don't understand. This just does what it wants. We're closing out tonight's show. This is Common. Y'all might know him as Rashid. Big ups to the Southeast Side. When We Move, featuring Black Thought and Sean Kuti. When We Move. Big ups. Bullets are boomerangs.
Hey, ground.
Murder and suicide.
Yeah, an eye for an eye.
Silence is violence.
See something, say something.
12. Greed plus ego over fear. That's what we call slave theory.
Yeah. Charity plus humility times love is freedom.
It's the freedman's theory.
Now that's freedom.
Do not answer questions.
Question everything.
Fear is illusionary. Fear is cap.
And vibrate love.
Because forgiveness and charity, those are the highest vibrations that brother just spoke of.
So, do something charitable for an enemy and end a beef.
One of the elders told me that Healthy people, heal thy people. Healthy people, heal thy people.
For sure, because I know hurt people will hurt people.
Facts. Y'all go ahead. I'm talking to the KKK right here. We talking to the CIA, the FBI. We talking to y'all. These are the people talking.
Alphabet.
Free Larry Hoover.
Man, free Jeff Fort.
Free all the guys.
Prison is slavery.
Let my people go. Let my people go.
Let them go.
Let my people go.
Nothing's gonna happen right.
And while you in the go, letting the people go, be like St. Pedro. Walk on top of H2O.
Man,
by keeping your eyes on Yahshua.
Got eyes on Yahshua. Speaking of that, hey, we can move mountains. That's what we are ordained to do.
Boy, when the Self Love Nation moves, Self,
man,
when we move,
it's gonna move continents. We talk about mountains.
We might have to have this joint playing, Self.
Man, this boy
is Opera Pro, ain't it?
This sounds like some Fela.
Don't it, Fela? I think they sample some Fela. Yeah.
That sounds like.
Hey, but we always leave y'all with he said move mountains and self-love. How we gonna do that, bro? How we supposed to? How just me and you supposed to move a mountain? B.
Hey, I can speak on a couple of things. When two or more speak in his name, he is there. So all we need is the faith of a mustard seed, and we got way more than that, bro.
Mustard seed, huh?
Yeah.
That don't seem like a whole lot of faith.
We got way more than that, so we ain't worried about that part.